You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
32 minutes, 21 seconds. 5-second tone followed by a 1-second pause.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Okay, gang, let's go.
From the space city called Houston, Texas, welcome to Spaceboy Universe, featuring Spaceboy and the lovely Sir Lana. So strap in and prepare for launch sequence.
Greetings and salutations. I'm Spaceboy, and across from me is the lovely Sir Lana, and this is Spaceboy Universe. It is July 28, 2018, and tonight's guest is bill-lutz. Man, I will get it together eventually. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at the SBU Universe. You can follow Sir Lana at Sir Lana. That's SURLANA. Follow me, Spaceboy, at Spaceboy Music. Of course, you know, you can also follow the show, and that is at Facebook, Tumblr, Instagram, YouTube. Just look for Spaceboy Universe. You know, we also are on demand. You can go to Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube, and of course, iHeartMedia. How could I forget them? And I'm so excited to announce, because you know we were going to announce this last week. We're also on Spotify now. That's right. You can listen to Spaceboy Universe on Spotify. So some really cool stuff that you can do. Now, you want to hang out with the Space Cadets? That's what we call our fans of Spaceboy Universe. You can do so by going to the SBU, and that's spaceboyuniverse.com, and click on the dancing chat bubble in the player, and that will get you in with all the cool kids. But beyond that, everything looks groovy. We're going to have a great show tonight, and we're so glad you're here. So with that magical note, let me bring in the lovely Sir Lana. How are you, Sir Lana?
I'm typing fiercely.
I can hear you. It's like
I'm trying. Once we get to talking, I try not to type because you can hear it so much. But you know, we're on Spreaker, and we do have live chat when we do this show. I'm a little freaked out because I'm thinking you can't hear me because I don't hear myself. But that's fine, as long as you can hear me. I don't need to hear myself.
Why can't you hear it? Well,
we got people asking us.
Yeah.
Are we cooled down yet?
Yeah, well, I think...
jump right into that.
So, yeah, basically, we got the air condition fix. We still have our GoFundMe account still open to raise about $40 more.
Yeah, we just need just a few more to get it paid
Yeah,
for.
so $40 more will reach goal. There's been a nice contributor behind the scenes to help us out to get the AC unit. And
Space Cadets and a family member.
Well, a few family members.
A few family members on your side have been really stepped up. And you're probably wondering, Sir Lana, what the heck you haven't done or said anything about it. Well, I come from a very different mindset, very old school. I'm turning into my mother. You know, if you have a problem, you don't look for, you don't go asking for help. It's just this really insular, it's like I could have gotten by on the window unit in our bedroom. Of course, we could only live in our bedroom and in this room, the studio, because you had a window you didn't hear, because the prices we were getting to fix our current AC were the same amount as I'm paying on the old one. I still owe on the old unit, and I'm still paying on it, and I'll still be paying on it for the next few years.
Yeah,
there's just no way we could have done this. Now we could have gotten by with window units, but I don't know how good that was going to be. We couldn't sit in certain areas in the house because you had to pick the rooms you want to cool. So we couldn't sit in the living room AC. And oh, boo-hoo! I couldn't cook because it was too hot. I was not upset about that.
Have I said anything about that?
No, but I'm just like, I can't cook. It's too hot.
You've had it pretty nice because we've done the Uber / dash.
We've done Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub. We have been abusing the delivery thing, and then we'll eat it in another room that has AC. And
then unfortunately, how it all went down the last week was, it was just too dang hot in here in the studio.
We couldn't do this studio because one, it's too hot for us, and plus we didn't want to run all this equipment with it being so hot because computers do need some cool.
It does get a little warm in here. You
don't really want to run.
We have 3 computers in here. We have the equipment that actually runs the broadcast itself.
Our internet connection, a TV,
TVs. It's a full-fledged studio in here, and it can get hot in here.
So we didn't want to risk any of that.
Even with
cooking.
the window unit I put in here,
it's still
pretty hot. And at least once I put the window unit in here,
it was bearable.
It was bearable. And
now the window unit we put in our bedroom, it took 3 days for it to make it bearable. But last Saturday morning, I laid there in our bed while you were in the back room with the window unit. I just laid there baking like a potato. I just as long as I don't move a muscle, I won't notice it's 88 degrees in this house.
It's been rough, to say the least. We've neglected a lot of things that we would have normally done with an AC, cool house. Friday, the gentleman came out, replaced our unit, and
while we were at work.
Yeah, while we were at work. Well,
someone AC ninja.
Somebody had to run home to let the guy in, but I managed to do that and get back to work. But the thing is, when we got home, we had an AC unit, a brand new AC unit, and we got a pretty decent deal on it. And I want to thank all those that helped us out. Very much like Sirlana, I'm not the kind of person that usually asks for help. That's probably why SBU could really use some extra money, is because I usually don't ask for help until very recently we started doing our donation campaign.
Well, it was going to get to the point where it was going to be like, do we want to get an AC or have SBU? So we were thinking about shutting SBU down for, I don't know, however many months. But then I'm sure that would probably kill the whole program by that time.
And of course, there was a lot of people behind the scenes who say, "No, don't do that. Don't do that. We love you. We don't want you to go." But I kid in all seriousness. There are a lot of you that to fashion to form, have been a part of the show since the beginning and have known me personally prior to the SBU, that came through with the donation, and I thank you all, and you know who you are, and I appreciate you. And I say that right now, that the fund drive, the GoFundMe account is still open. We have $40 we still need to raise left. So if any of y'all can find it in your heart to donate like $5 or something like that, I hate to sound like I'm begging, but...
Well, it'll finish off the cost of what we owe, on it. But somebody asked me in the chat, probably Kay, how was Muffin taking all this? Well, here's the thing about cats. Cats love heat. They really do. So most of the time when things are going fine and AC's working normal, Muffin hangs out in the garage because the garage is hot and she likes it. She thinks that's awesome. Well, you could tell things have changed because it got too hot in the garage and it was just right in the house because it was in the 80s in here. And so Muffin was just like luxuriating in the heat. She was in here like spreading out and she was just loving it. She hung out with us a lot. She really liked it. I would sit in there in the hot living room for a little bit to like have some food or something or look at something real quick. And she would hang out with me. She was just loving it. And as soon as the AC came back on Friday and into Saturday, this Saturday morning, she's back in the garage. We don't see her now. She's like, it's too cold in here. But because we've had that window unit in our bedroom on top of the central AC, which comes back. I have not wanted to get out of bed. It has been just so, it's like an Arctic zone in there.
In fact, it was kind of rough to get up because we got up early this morning to hang out with
family,
with Aunt Eva and Uncle Joe. Everybody knows Uncle Joe from the show, and we had a lovely breakfast. We drove down to Sealy, Texas, and ate there at a place called Tony's, and it was nice. I loved it because the ladies, the waitresses, have that definitely the Texas accent, and there
were legit biker chicks in there with leather and everything. It was really interesting.
Yeah, they showed up like right after
we were about to leave,
and stuff.
But yeah, that was pretty cool. I called dibs on next weekend. I don't want to get up early, so
yeah. So, but I was having a hard time getting up this morning.
It was perfect.
After you've been roasted live in the house,
and then I took a nap when we came back, and you're like, oh, you weren't happy about it.
And the funny thing about this AC story,
and then here he comes taking a nap.
The AC story is that okay, it's fixed, but before the AC went out, our oven and our stove has gone out, and it needs a part that needs to be replaced.
But we'll take care of that.
But so it's kind of like things are
breaking left and right.
Last week, Solana, I wanted to bring up a thing, and I didn't get a chance to because we took off that day, and it's the SBU press release that I did on the 19th, and I just want to get this out of the way because I just wanted to put it on the record. Of course, some of y'all have read that are part of friends who enjoy Spaceboy Universe have probably read it. But anyway, master of social media Dennis Koch has decided to part ways with Spaceboy Universe. Dennis has been an awesome person when it comes to his support of the SBU. Solana and I wish him well, and our door is always open. In the words of Star Trek Spock, peace and long life. So we'll miss Dennis, but I'm sure he'll be successful in whatever he goes off. And like I said, our door is always open for him to talk to us or to come back or whenever he wants to do. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. So that's out of the way. Now let's move in. Speaking of social medias, Solana, something that has happened that's been going on is, we've had the conversation. Beware of what you post on social media because it can come back.
Or the internet, anywhere.
Yeah, it can come back, and especially on social media. I use this as a prime example. Is that in social media, many people are warned about what to put on there because later on it can affect job opportunities or just other things that could come along. Could you imagine, hey, it's Daytona 2004 and you're chugging beer and your Bermuda shorts are halfway down to your ankles and your nonads are showing, and and then of course we go flash forward to 2018. You're trying to get this posh job with a lucrative bank to back you up as far as salary is concerned. And they say, well, we'd like to see your social media before we hire you.
And that's weird because they actually do, some companies actually do that. And then I'm like, but I guess I get where they're coming from.
Well, in some companies, it's like they want to make sure that what kind of character you are. What do you, what are you bringing to this company? Because
and some people really put it out there.
Because the fact is that some companies have their own image to protect. And if they hire somebody without vetting them properly, then it's a matter of, okay, we just hired this guy and he is XYZ or ABC, So companies really kind of push forward to the effect of making sure to properly vet who they bring on. And that's why over the many years, even to this very day, they tell you, be careful with what you post as far as, it could be opinion, it can be pictures, and, what are you cringing over there? Is there something I should know, Solana?
Is there a complete lack of common sense in this day and age?
You have to wonder, as far as, I think that the generations nowadays have the sense of no privacy versus our generation wants privacy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you and I are that generation that crossed the bridge of didn't have, now we have.
Right. So
and you and I were in our 20s when the internet probably hit.
I mean, when you
we were young enough to embrace it.
Did you read the book 1984 when you were in school?
I did not have to read it, but I'm aware of what it's about.
You know the concept, so big brother's watching you kind of thing. So I lead with that because recently you have a situation where James Gunn, the director for Guardians of the Galaxies 1 and 2, recently was fired because of some tweets that he posted a while back, about 10 years ago.
Crazy to think Twitter's been around that long.
Yeah, it is crazy. Just to think of how old we are,
Mm-hmm.
and they were tasteless jokes dealing with pedophilia, and so even going back not too long ago, they Disney subsidiary ABC let Roseanne go for posting tweets that were kind of offensive. So I guess Disney decided to, we did it for Roseanne, we're going to need to do this.
Yeah, they got to do it, yeah.
And it's kind of sad in the sense that, first off, I want to say that there is no proof that James Gunn is a pedophile. There's nobody has come forward. No one said anything. Like, hey, when I was 8,
no one's come out to accuse him. But the thing is, somebody got screenshots of all that and put it together and compiled it.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of tweets in that vein he put out, whether he is one or not, makes you go, huh? It makes me question his. It just makes me question him.
Well, and I want to go on record that the theme of those tasteless jokes, I'm not condoning pedophilia in any way.
It puts it in your mind. You're like, why does he keep mentioning this over and over and over and over and over?
And I
even if it's a joke.
From what I've heard, at the time he was making these tasteless jokes to stir up some things at that time. Mm-hmm. Now, flash forward. He's come out, he's apologized, he recognizes they were tasteless jokes at the time. Even I can look back at, initially it was a gut reaction like, well, serves him right, to be fired. But, and let me go further, and before you put the Solana spin on it, is that...
I won't say anything.
ABC is well within their right to let him go.
Sure.
Because they're a business, they have, Disney is... supposedly kid friendly, and tries to promote this kind of happiness in their.
They're just trying to cover their
exactly,
butts,
and it goes back to the image thing.
Show them they're not tolerant of it.
Right, exactly.
Just to be on the safe side.
And the sad thing is that, in this case, I tend to believe James Gunn is remorse over the comments that he made on Twitter. And he has thus deleted all his tweets and gotten rid of all that, because I know it's after the fact and stuff. But
maybe he and Kathleen Kennedy can start something together.
Oh wow! I've already started to brainwash you on this, speaking of deleting tweets, recently Ryan Johnson deleted his tweets, but
just to be safe.
But the thing is, we already know that he's a doofus anyway, so nothing's going to change about him deleting his tweets.
I heard Dan Harmon was doing that, but nobody's under any illusions about Dan Harmon.
Yeah, well, we know his history, but but getting back to Gunn, I think in this situation, it's sad that he lost his job. It is what it is, and it should go. It should show the public how dangerous it is to post things to social media.
Do you think he learned a lesson?
I think he did.
Let's talk about people who don't learn lessons.
Okay.
Logan Paul.
Okay.
Logan Paul, at the beginning of this year, posted this really terrible, insensitive, culturally insensitive thing he did over in Japan at the suicide forest where he actually supposedly filmed a dead body in an area he wasn't supposed to be in the suicide forest. So Casey Neistat, who is one of these mega YouTubers, interviewed Logan Paul, and Logan Paul says there's a difference between being culturally insensitive and being insensitive. No, there is not. So you and I watched the overlord of YouTube, the guy who has the most subscribers on YouTube, PewDiePie. Who has already been dragged through the mud 80 million times, and he has a perspective on this.
That's uniquely.
You want to talk about a crap fest of this interview of Casey interviewing Logan Paul. You just get on there and you can see it. I just had to shake my hand. I'm like, this kid, Logan, he's still in his 20s, early 20s.
He's only 22.
He's stupid. He hasn't lived long enough. But basically what you've learned from this interview is that Logan's putting out this supposedly honest documentary about what happened over in Japan. But the thing is, after you listen to this interview between Casey and Logan doesn't know anything. He hasn't learned anything. He doesn't understand the point. He doesn't see what he's done is wrong.
And I'm glad you bring this point up because, let's take a second to compare Logan with PewDiePie. PewDiePie he's lived. And and that's exactly it. I get the sense that he's learned, he's maturing, he's growing older.
He's got a perspective on this now.
Exactly. And when I watch Logan, it's hard to watch him because he's just not all there in the sense of hasn't matured.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be his downfall if he does not.
Well, he went over there to Japan and dressed up like an idiot and ran around the streets and, just basically being an American jackass and causing a stir. And then he goes to the, is it at the foot of Mount Fuji? It's the famed suicide forest where people actually go and commit suicide. He went into an area that was restricted. He shouldn't have gone in and was filming for his channel with two other people dressed like a jackass. And supposedly they come across a dead body. I don't know if this has been confirmed or not, but it seems legit. It feels real. And, of course, they blurred out his face for sensitivity, but he got internet fame. He probably didn't monetize that video, but he got subscribers left and right. He profited in ways that were not monetary.
Right.
But
in the end,
that's the controversy.
He got hurt financially because,
but he didn't learn a lesson.
He lost a lot of projects, and
he had one with Disney. That happened to PewDiePie. That scared PewDiePie was through Disney, and he lost that. They didn't film it, but the thing is, he said Disney paid him before they started filming. He still got paid, so he's like, I don't care. But
well, as long as he got his cheddar, that's all that matters in the end, right?
But he's still getting in trouble because once he's gotten into big trouble like PewDiePie, the slightest little thing you say, people are jumping on it. And he's like, okay, look, I'm going to apologize for that because I didn't understand why people were upset. Now I get it. I don't agree with what your perspective is, and he just moves on. He doesn't like drag it out and cry and stuff, but he has a perspective as somebody who's said the wrong thing, done the wrong thing. So he can look at Logan and as somebody's experienced that. He's like, he did this and he hasn't learned any lessons. He's just making content to make content to stay in there and stay relevant. So it's just sad.
and I guess when you're high on the the mountain, it's easy to get knocked down.
Oh, and Logan says,
bottom.
I'm the most hated man on the planet right now. And I'm like, well, that's just another accolade for yourself. But, oh, my goodness.
But like I was saying, is that, they put him on a pedestal. He's going to get knocked down. And hopefully he learns his lesson, like the more times he gets knocked down.
I'm really whipping through this because we don't have a lot of time. I had more content than we've got time, but what cool thing have you done this week? What cool purchase did you make?
Oh, Solana's talking about cryptocurrency. I'm sorry, I went blank there for a second.
Yeah.
I finally broke down and started buying some cryptocurrency. I have been reading some reports.
Fascinating.
It is fascinating. You know, we did a show on cryptocurrency, I guess
Probably 2 years ago.
about 2 years ago. And, you know, I've always been fascinated by cryptocurrency. And so finally, after reading some things about the possible rise of cryptocurrency to new phenomenal levels, I said, you know, I'm going to spend a little money, and I purchased a little bit of Bitcoin and a couple of other things.
That's the crazy thing. There's cryptocurrency, that's the concept, but there's brand names. Imagine having dollar bills that come in different brand names, where, you know, you've got Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, you know, this kind of stuff. So it's really interesting. It's like the stock market or buying gold. You purchase something and the value of it fluctuates, just like gold and stock market. But it's really interesting.
So what I did was I got into this thing called Coinbase, and they offer 4 different types of currency: Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Litecoin. And they all range in different, you know, a coin itself can range from different prices. For example, like currently, Bitcoin is going for $8,251.82. That's for one Bitcoin. But you don't have to buy just the whole Bitcoin.
You buy fractions.
You know, you could buy like $25 worth of a Bitcoin at that time. And so, yeah, fractions is exactly what Solana's saying. And so the cool thing is, since my purchase, you know, I've seen an increase of, you know, at least 10% on a small initial purchase. You don't have to have a lot of money to invest in Bitcoin.
The only downside
really
is it's not as widely accepted as a payment. But it's getting there.
It's getting there. But the cool thing right now is it's a great way to make an investment. And the great comparison that I heard recently about cryptocurrency is that, you know, in the old days, like the turn of the 20th century, you know, people bought stock in newly fledged companies like GE and all these other companies that were popping up, and then over time they became multimillionaires. Well, it's now at a point where we don't have anything like that anymore.
This is like the last new frontier.
This is kind of exactly, it's a new frontier.
But what
for
fascinates me
earning
about
money.
this is, you know, we did a show this. We talked about blockchaining. Blockchaining is the act of processing the transactions when you buy something. Now, what is interesting is China has heavily censored internet. They've used blockchain to share a censored news article. Over there in one of their provinces, their government is giving out vaccines that are not effective to babies, and they're really upset about it, and they're trying to share this on social media, and they're getting, of course, censored by their government. So some enterprising users have gotten on Ethereum. Ethereum is one of these brands of cryptocurrency. So they would go to the Ethereum blockchain network, and they would send 0.001 Ether, that's a 1 unit of Ethereum,
Right.
to itself. And when they did that, they would paste the text of that transaction, and they would put in the metadata the links to this story, because you cannot tamper with the stuff in a blockchain. So that they get around the monitors over there in China, and they can't actually censor it. So they're using blockchain to get around censors. That just blows my mind. I just think that's cool.
Okay, well, that is cool, and we've reached the bottom of the hour. So you're listening to Spaceboy Universe. I'm Spaceboy, and she's Solana. And when we come back, we'll have our guest, Bill Lutz, and he's got a lot to talk about.
This is Patrick Scott Spore, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
You are listening Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lotta.
This is author Gordon Root. You are listening to the Spaceboy Universe.
This is K28, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hi, y'all. This is Lori calling from Texas, and I love listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, this is Dave Cruz, host of Beyond the Strange, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
This is Wendy. I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe. Hey, y'all. This is Lorelai DeLille. I listen to Spaceboy Universe. Don't you? Tell your mom and them I said hi.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sir Ronnie.
Bill Lutz is an IT instructor that has taught IT computer networking systems for over 6.5 years and basic computers for over 12 years. He also teaches web design and is currently trying to obtain a master's in IT. He's also a professional illustrator and cartoonist, and he has his own comic book company, Dragon Phoenix Media. In addition, he is also a video editor and member of a small independent production company called TechnoFear. Last fall, he directed, for the first time, a science fiction webisode for TechnoFear called Sweepers. He was a DP on another show for TechnoFear called Challenger, where he also acted. He's also a professional writer. He has been both a wine sommelier and a beer aficionado, and as among his many career paths. He's a very big sci-fi animation fan and an extensive reader. He also enjoys photography, football, weightlifting, swimming, and rugby. He lives in Philadelphia with his Rottweiler Sydney, and he can really cook, and he's also a pretty nice guy. And this actually puts him in a great spot in my heart. He adores Pinky and the Brain. Please welcome Bill Lutz.
Yay! How are you, Bill?
Hey, guys. I'm doing great. I appreciate that. It was a cool bio. Just want to make one point, too, with the Sweepers thing. I co-directed that with Jim Bray. He gave me a big shot and opportunity, and I want to thank him for that, because that was really cool. Didn't know I could do that. So we co-directed that episode together, and it was really so much fun.
Okay. Hold on. I'm getting something from...
Can you turn him up for me?
Okay. You remember last time when we messed with the volume on your... Here right. It goes. Now, Bill, bear with me here as
I'm sorry. I'm getting old and I can't see and I can't hear.
She's got the equivalent of hot flashes for her volume in her ears.
This is okay. This is
I won't go down that alley.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bill. This is my first time talking to you. You've been talking to Space Boy through your collaboration with him, and I have been helping behind the scenes. You don't know, where he'll bring that piece of video for me and he'll put his music in it, and it's like, okay, what do you think about this? And then because I'm all he's got as far as getting opinions and whatnot. But so tell us more about your involvement with Jim's production and being a Sweepers and all the good stuff you've been doing there.
Well, with Sweepers and TechnoFear, we were originally going to be a Star Trek fan base thing, the whole Star Trek fan thing. But the whole diatribe and drama to heck about Star Trek, it just capsized everything. I'm not going to go into specifics about individuals and drama queens and stuff like that. I'm trying to move on from that. And then we finally decided, why don't we just do original stuff? And not, Star Trek's going to be around, like everything else is going to be around, and there's going to be a billion different interpretations of what Star Trek is about, and more power to them. I love the show. I love it a lot. I'm just tired of the fandom nonsense. So I suggested, and Jim agreed, and Brian Koval, one of our producer directors, also agreed. We all got together, and we decided, and everybody agreed on, we're going to do original stuff, and we converted an episode that was supposed to be Trek-based into Sweepers. And we got a great cast of people, and everybody who wanted to continue making films, we came aboard. Jim secured the playouts where we did all the shooting for. He got everything together. He was instrumental in getting this episode done. He did a great job. And everybody just went to town, had a great time. And I found out that I was able to work a camera and understand camera angles. It was another friend of mine, was Gary Karp, who I'd mentioned when I was picking angles. I said, Bill, what are you doing? Are you shooting a comic book? And yeah, kind of, because I'm a comic book illustrator, and that kicked it in, and it went that's the way we shot it. And I'm hoping that it turns out to be a great episode that everybody will like and enjoy, because I thought it was a really great concept that was written by Brian Koval, and it was, to me, just totally different. Just classic sci-fi fun, And we're in the process of post-production editing, tying the special effects together, getting the music, as and getting everything worked out so that we can hopefully get this released this year. Because we do want to talk about another episode coming up is Challenger, which is Jim Bray's baby, about the crew of a spaceship called Challenger that goes out to save the universe. That's all I'm going to say about that. and it stars his wife Jodie, who is one heck. Did I say hell? Well, I would say one hell of an actress. Did a really great job carrying that show, which I was very pleased to be able to photograph and work on the DP for. And I also acted. I got to be made up as a character. Jim turned me basically into the Gray Thing.
Yeah, I've seen
makeup was so.
I've seen some of the.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say I've seen some of the production pictures and videos, and it's just really a lot of fun from watching it, and I guess y'all making it your own. It's disappointing that kind of like the Star Wars stuff that's going on. Fans disappointed that the big companies have said, hey, look. This is our rules. If you don't like it, then tough, But I've been really excited to see how it's metamorphosized into what it's become. And just like you, as you've mentioned, this is the first time that I have personally worked on trying to do soundtracks for productions. I've always loved watching movies and the soundtracks behind them, but it's been a great opportunity to stretch my legs and to be a part of that, and I'm really excited to be a part of what's going on with you guys.
Well, I won't lie to you, Jim. The main title theme song for Sleepers rocks. Everybody was talking about it, and the rock and roll walking man to replace the we were usually going to use Meatloaf, but that went to, I guess, licensing hell. I thought what you did was much better.
Well, thank you.
I've got it loaded in my phone. I play it as part of my soundtrack music and everything. I'm loving it. And I play a lot of soundtrack and all kinds of eclectic music when I'm going to work or something. So I love it, and I can't wait I'm hoping that you can, soundtrack Challenger, too. But I do want to point out that when they had me made up as the Gray Thing, as we called it, the makeup was incredible. I was running around yelling clobbering time half the time on the set with the make. It was so cool. But the music itself that you've done has been fantastic. I'm just want more. I can't wait for you to come up with the evil theme for Law and the heroic theme for Zol, and I love the way you reworked that love theme that we talked about. And
well,
it's
kind of hopefully our audience needs more context on that.
Well, let me stop there and give Bill and you a compliment. Try not to pass out over there. So he showed me a clip, I guess you'd sent for him to score. I'm not sure what it was. It was something was trying to get on board or in the ship with y'all. It was a very close scene, kind of claustrophobic almost. I stopped paying attention to the music. I forgot I was supposed to listen to that, and I was caught up in what was going on the screen. But I was looking at the props and the set, and I was really taken aback by that because it really has that classic sci-fi Trek lighting, and it was nicely lit. I liked the handheld props you had. It kind of had old school, but I could tell it had modern technology inside it, and I like how you can marry those two. And then I had to say, okay, rewind it. I'll pay attention to what I'm supposed to pay attention to. And
was I supposed to listen to the music?
I was like, well, only critique I had was like maybe take the level down because it might be overtaking the dialogue. But it fit perfectly with the it felt like a traditional TV sidetrack. I mean, I keep mentioning Star Trek, but I mean that is your roots for your productions.
Well, it is our roots, and I think it is our roots, and it's always going to be our roots. But the ultimate goal is to go beyond that.
Yeah,
as I said, I'm a big
it's all
proponent
original
of doing
stories.
Originality stuff.
Yeah, original stories, original characters.
And as we develop the characters and stuff, we'll still have the basic roots, but then we're going to start. Hopefully, we'll start evolving everything and doing really crazy things with all our cameras and our lightings and stuff like that. Our second episode of Sweeper is going to be basically a horror type show, and I'm looking forward to that one.
He's done one horror
written by Brian Koval.
That's going to be great. I'm so glad that you have found each other, not just because he's my husband, but I just think that y'all are going to bring out the best of your talents with the music and your production. And that's all
yeah, well, like I said, our production is a whole bunch of great people working together, you know, and it's been a really fun experience. And, you know, like every other production, we all pull our hair out sometimes, butt heads, but they're a really good bunch of people, and I'm very pleased and proud to work with all those guys.
So how did you end up meeting Jim and Jody?
It was through the Star Trek fan film stuff. I met Jim and Jody through one of the Star Trek fan films, and I was so impressed with the way Jim was doing makeup and stuff. And on the first day, we were shooting for one of the fan film episodes, and makeup Klingons, and Jim was showing me how to do it, and I was enjoying it. And it just kept going on. We kept talking and talking, and like truly how you, with good friends and stuff, you don't really remember how you meet them eventually. It just got like that. And it's been evolving, and then we were trying to work on the Star Trek, our own Star Trek fan base, and then, like I said, the gods from Olympus decided to strike everything down, or the gods from Triskelion, if you want to be Star Trek, and we moved over to doing the original stuff. And I tell you, it's doing this original stuff is fantastic.
They are a fantastic group of people. They've been on the show a few times, and of course, Jim and Jody follow me on Facebook, and I've got nothing but wonderful things about them.
I think they're the mirror version.
They are.
We are there, you know.
Yeah, it's funny when we get together on the mic, how similar and we believe in certain things and things that come up and just the dynamics. But they're just swell people, and we're just so pleased
wish we
to
lived
be
closer.
Yeah, we wish. It's too bad that you know they're all the way up there when we're down here in Texas. You know, but at least they know that they have people that support them down here in Texas, and now a part of that is yourself, Bill.
Yeah, well, I'm trapped in the middle of Philadelphia. And I moved to Philadelphia after a divorce, and I'm just very happy being in Philly right now. Love cities. Love the city. Always something to do.
That's why we love Houston. Never dull moment.
I was down in Houston for a while when a job a long time ago, and I liked it. It was another city I liked. I've always been attracted to living in cities. Grew up in rural suburbia. Hate it. And I like living in cosmopolitan areas. I love the diversity.
Well, it's quite diverse here in Houston, but I guess in the city of brotherly love, you get quite a diversity up there as well.
It can be very exciting, very busy, very scary at times, but it's like a city. And I also grew up in Long Island, New York City, too. So I went to college in New York City, spent a couple of years in Manhattan. I loved it. I loved it totally. City's always been my favorite thing.
Go ahead, Sir Lon.
So, had you acted before you got in this production with Jim and Jody, or what's your background with that?
My background with acting is very, very minor. If anything, it was to read lines from my father when he was doing plays, but I'd always been intrigued. I always wanted to do back of the house stuff. I just never got bitten by this bug until we started doing the Star Trek stuff and then working into our own production. I guess I really got bit by it then. I was more and more intrigued into the director photography working stuff, the cameras, and the directing stuff was real fun. I had started out video editing with Star Trek fan films, and it just seemed natural progression. So as for acting, it's okay. I'm not a great person. I'm not a great fan of myself on the camera, so yeah, I'm my own worst critic. So I'm looking for the time I have to cut myself as the Challenger cast member, LeClaire. When I get Challenger edited together, it's going to be fun. Like, I'm going to hate you. I don't like the way you're acting. Why did you do that?
Would it be fair to say that your love of Trek began when you were a kid, maybe back in the 70s when it went into syndication?
No, I was born out of the womb. I swear I think my mother was watching Star Trek when I was born. I remember it. My first real vivid memory of Star Trek was hiding when the Enterprise crew met Balak in the Corbomite maneuver, and the puppet thing scared the heck out of me when I was a kid. And I don't know why it did. I don't know. It was like, maybe it was Lurch's voice. I don't know. But when you're like 1 or 2 years old, then, you know, you remember that kind of stuff has an impact on you.
Right.
Now I just laugh at it, you know.
I too remember as a kid that freaked me out as well, that puppet. And, you know, Solana's like, what, you know, on Star Trek, well, she's not a big fan of the original series.
Not the original.
I'm just going to stop it there. What? She, you know, the old saying, do I like Kirk or do I like Picard? She's a Picard person. Mm-hmm. She likes her men bald.
Yeah, I do like them bald. So.
Yeah, I am not going to debate that with you guys at all. There's too many of my friends who are on polarized sides of who's the best captain. I just don't want to be a red shirt on the original Enterprise. That's all.
That's fair enough. And Trek has a little bit of something for everyone. And in fact, before I even open that can of worms, let's go ahead and take our first break of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, sit back. We're in pre-flight, and we're going to continue our discussion with Bill Lutz here in just a second as we head off into our commercial break. This is a good opportunity for you to get a beverage and maybe do other things if you need to. So don't go anywhere and touch that dial.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Solana.
Hey, Solana!
What?
If Spaceboy Universe was cheese, would you eat it? Come on now, it's a simple question.
Maybe?
SpaceboyUniverse.com.
listening to Space Boy Universe. Here are your hosts, Space Boy and Sir Ron.
All right. You are listening to Space Boy Universe, and it is going downtown from left to right to up to down to all across the universe. And our guest tonight is Bill Lutz, and a fabulous individual, and I was just excited to get him on tonight to share his story and talk about
and you've been talking about him to me. He's like, oh, he does this and he does that and the other, and I'm like,
he's really kind of a jack of all trades, if you will, and he just kind of like me, touching just everything, and doing this, doing that, and
he has all the skills that you and I have between us.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. Earlier was that if you took some of your DNA and my DNA, you get Bill Lutz.
You're saying he's our child.
He's our DNA child.
Don't terrify him.
Anyway,
I'm a giant-sized DNA child. Trust me.
It's always nutty here at the Space Boy Universe, so don't feel bad if you think we're nuts or anything like that. So
you're not the only one.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
Well,
so
I'm having a great time.
Good.
I'm having a great time.
That's great. Like I said, I've just been learning about you through him, and I guess I read your bio. So my next area I want to cover with you is when did you begin to draw?
I started, apparently, according to rumor mill, I started drawing when I was 1 or 2 years old.
Oh.
And what I would do was take crayons and draw all over the walls of my parents' house. And I would end up drawing numbers, because one of the first cartoons I ever saw, and a lot of my friends are going to start laughing when they hear this one, was Fantastic Four, which is my all-time favorite superhero group ever. You can't convince me otherwise. I don't care about the X-Men, the Justice League, the Avengers, Superman, Batman. They are all second-rate to me, the Fantastic Four. But when I started drawing with numbers, and then in school I just started copying pictures and drawing, and it just kept going and going. And then when I discovered comic books and comic book artwork, and just copying images, and then drawing, and then reading, because I actually deeply read comic books, and I enjoy them so much, and then getting involved in stories, and then just drawing nature, drawing life in general. I just, ever since I was a kid, I just kept drawing.
So how did you make the leap into making your own, or getting involved with making comics?
Well, I've been collecting comics since I was about 11 years old. Again, my first comic book, ironically, was Fantastic Four. And I just wanted to draw them. I like the way I like the sequential art. I like the way things are done, the storyline. I like superheroes. Lord knows this planet needs a bunch of them. And I just felt comfortable with my niche, my world. Drawing. As I'm talking to you guys right now, I'm actually drawing. I can't stop.
You got to strike when the inspiration comes,
Mm-hmm. I like to think we're inspiring
when I have time, because there are all the things I do.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me?
I said I was hoping that means we're inspiring him, not that he's multitasking.
Well, this is actually kind of fun, too. It makes me relax. And when I relax, I get inspired to draw.
Well, I've checked
out... And I've been posting stuff on Facebook.
I've checked out your site. You see, dragonphoenixmedia.com. And I was looking at the style of everything you play. So you've got Pathways, Sentient, Mars versus Earth, The Realm, and The Return of the Frontiersman. That seems to have a bit of that kind of Fantastic Four, kind of X-Men feel or flavor to it.
A lot of the stuff is probably, there's influence from the 80s and the 90s, Fantastic Four and X-Men. That's the time I thought comic books were at their peak, with great artwork and great story. Now, the company itself was formed by me and Glenn Smith. We've known each other since our days working Star Trek fan films. He's an incredible writer. He's got several books out he's writing about a series called Soul Fleet, which is fantastic. And he and I worked together on doing a Star Trek comic book for a while, which was free. and we decided to get together Dragon Phoenix Media, and we came up with, I came up with the Frontiersmen because they've been my characters for a long, long time. Pathways is sort of a prequel to that. He's created Sentient, which I'm also drawing, which is a very, I want to say, intense science fiction themed story. It's incredibly written, and I can't wait to get my teeth into the illustration. It's been a little hard for me to develop the characters because it's a different approach. I'm trying to get a different style to it. But I'm working on a couple of the pages this week and next week. I'm hoping to be able to show them something. It's been a long process, but the specific writing style and my specific drawing style, when we work together, we can actually feel out how it's going to look. So we worked together for a long time. The Realms of the Lord's Creations and Mars vs. Earth is a creation by Charles Root, and it's being drawn by my other partner at Dragon Phoenix, Rob Barnes, who is an accomplished illustrator, cartoonist, and an excellent colorist. I mean, man knows color. I'm partially colorblind, and when I make a mistake, Rob calls me on it and tells me how to correct it. He's fantastic. Charles, great writer himself. He's got a couple of published books himself. We just try to get together and do this. And we're all doing this on our time off when we don't have 50 million other things we have to do. And Dragon Phoenix Media has a slow period right now, but we're coming back slowly but surely. We're going to attack it. We're going to bring it back, and I think we're going to have some great direction on this. It's just a matter of getting it all together. And, doing everything on a shoestring budget, of course, is an adventure. It's difficult. And there are a lot of, people so they want to draw for us, and then we explain the situation. And a good portion of people don't want to draw them because without getting any money. And I also believe by the philosophy, you're an artist, you should get paid for what you're doing. That's it. If it's your own company, yeah, I can understand you taking a hit. But, if you're going to draw for someone, they should pay you. And I have a lot of friends. Some of them offered to draw for us, Dragon Phoenix, some covers, which I don't mind doing. I think that's great. I love showcasing other people's artwork as well. We have several of the Pathways books out, and Mars vs. Earth Zero, Ascension Zero are out. Rob is finishing up Mars vs. Earth 1. I had the pleasure to ink it for him while he penciled and colored it. And on Facebook, we have a page for Dragon Phoenix Media. You can see his fantastic work. It's just incredible. It's got a great sense of design and style.
So what is your process? Are you hand drawing these and scanning them? Do you do any coloring in Photoshop or any digital media?
Yeah, well, here's the funny thing, too. It's really funny you said the digital stuff. I will hand draw all my pages in pencil. I pencil all the pages out and hand draw. I have tons of photographic reference. Some of my friends actually pose for me as superheroes and supervillains. Most wanted to be supervillains, which I just find really ironic. I have a lot of good friends. There are good people out there, really compassionate, warm, loving people, and they all want to be supervillains. It's funny.
Yeah.
And
I get that.
I think it's incredible. So I have a lot of people who are posed for me. I have tons of photographic reference, and I sketch it out. I draw it out on paper. I have the drawing papers. I have tons of pens and pencils and everything. And then I scan all the computer, save the pencil drawings, because I usually go back and ink them. Now I really got into digital inking, and it turned out to be better than I thought. I didn't want, when I was inking for the computer, to give me that homogenized computer inking look. Because I was afraid of it. Because from the beginning, when I first started, I was like, yeah, this is not me. So I went back, I took a deep breath, and I decided, okay, I have a drawing tablet, so let me try it this way. Different brushes, create some brushes, go through Photoshop, a little bit of work in Illustrator, and I started doing some digital stuff, and it started coming out great. And I'm going with it. I'm not questioning. The gods who said do it, I'm doing it, I'm not questioning it. So I am digitally inking my artwork now. As for coloring, only absolutely necessary. I think it's blue, green, red, blue. I don't know, one of those wacky colorblind things that will mess things up. And usually, if we work on the comics, Rob will probably do all the coloring. But it doesn't mean I'm trying. I'm really getting into that too now, especially with Photoshop and learning. It's like painting, because I used to paint with oils as an illustrator.
I was just curious about that because I've worked in Photoshop a long time, and it can be a huge help or it can be a hindrance, if depending on what you're trying to do. I've known people that have just said, I can't deal with this, and just delete it. And
sometimes Sir Lana has a bad case of Tourette's when it comes to
well, it thinks it knows better than me, and I have to.
So believe me, with some of these programs, I have a huge case of Tourette's. I think they only know me when I'm shouting out certain key words. It's just a matter of learning and doing it over again. It's a lot different from when I went to art school. Mm-hmm. But it's just a natural extension, so I'm loving it.
That's great. I mean, I like the way you could take old school, sketching and then you bring it into, the digital world, and you can get this extra thing out of it, or you can do it in where you can't tell that you've done it like that. I'm looking at some of your PDFs that you've got on the site, mm-hmm. and I wouldn't be able to know which ones have been done digitally or how it's been done traditionally. I was looking at some of them. I just saw a naked guy with a strategically placed bent legs. Like, oh, look at that. So I really like the style, the look. It's very traditional comic. I've not personally read comics, not because I'm a girl, but it never occurred to me to do that when I was younger. I don't even think I knew about comic books until the 90s or something. And then I get married to Space Boy, and he's actually got some, or he would purchase something, and then I was like getting into some of the Star Trek ones that he would purchase. So mm-hmm. that was a whole new world for me, getting into that.
Go ahead.
My biggest comic collection, of course, as I said, has always been Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
When I had divorced, I had to sell some of my X-Men and my Avengers comics, to survive. I refused to sell my Fantastic Four. And I am pretty much like either the most 20 issues away from the entire run.
Oh, wow.
I have Fantastic Four 6 at home, the first team-up of Dr. DUNE and the Submariner. I'm eventually, if money gets better, of course, eventually I will have my entire collection. I've told my friends to bury me in my Fantastic Four with me when I die. I love the series. I was livid when Marvel canceled it. It was like, I don't know, you just cancel your firstborn son or something. And because of some political schisms between Disney and Fox, because the adults there can't play well together.
I was surprised about the cancellation too, because
they canceled the comic.
The comic got canceled, and I was surprised because I too liked the Fantastic Four. I liked it when the Jessica Alba group, went them, and which had what's his name that played Horatio Hornblower.
I was gonna ask him about that, which is kind of like the elephant in the room with Fantastic Four as the movie versions. What he felt about
I will tell you that I'm going to be one of the few people who say I actually like the movies with Jessica Alba. I thought she nailed Sue Richards down perfectly. Mm-hmm. In fact, all of them nailed the characters down. The only one I despised, and it wasn't the actor's fault, was Dr. Doom. They got him all wrong. They're so afraid of making him the way he should be that there have been inevitable comparisons between him and Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
Fox was just so afraid that we're talking like the one villain that rules the world every other day and his own ego screws it up. And Fox just didn't get it. I saw the Roger Corman version where actually Dr. Doom was correct and the rest of it was awful.
Right.
But nothing compares to that Kraft version that came out recently. Ugh.
Where they made the characters younger and
like kids,
younger, and the thing was naked. That's
mm-hmm.
that was wrong on every level, and not even anatomically correct, which is even more disturbing. It's just
I'm not going to go there,
and it's just like they did it to keep the franchise, so they would tick off Disney,
right.
Who obviously, if the Marvel movies have been such a success, and the Infinity War was probably the best Marvel movie ever made, and it's just Fox has just ruined the Fantastic Four and the movie franchises. Now, I did like the Jessica Alba versions are great. The first one was really good. I liked it was nice to play, different version of Origin. When they brought Galactus and the Silver Surfer, they really messed it up. I don't know why they did a giant puffy cloud, but even back then at the time that movie came out, it's not too difficult to make a giant dude run around the city.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Japan's been doing it for 50, 60 years with Godzilla. But they didn't want to do this. They made this giant cloud, and it was just dorky. It was wrong. And I think that's probably put the nail in the coffin for that with those movies.
Well,
because I thought the X did a great job. I really did.
I was going to say
for
here,
Dr. Doom, but that.
I was going to say, Bill. Now it's kind of official. The board has approved the Fox Disney merger, and you got.
Does that bring the Fantastic Four under MCU?
Well, the plan is later, not necessarily now, but we don't know who might show up. But I've heard rumors that they want to bring the Fantastic Four into the MCU now.
What about the X-Men?
But as far as the mutants and all that, maybe later on in Phase 4 or Phase 6.
Well, I've heard that. Yeah. I've heard a possibility of that Wolverine may be making an appearance in Avengers 4.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that too.
There's a rumor.
And wouldn't you agree that he was a part of the Avengers, or hung out with them for a while, and did the battle with them, and wouldn't that be great to see?
Yeah,
that?
Wolverine. Oh, I think it would be fantastic, and I hear that I heard they're going to use Hugh Jackman, who said he would retire, but I'd read someplace that he said that the only time he put the claws back on is if you start with the Avengers.
Well, they've
like
got
that
opportunity now that half of them are gone, and they're probably going to have to use some kind of time travel, and they're going to probably, as you were telling me, people could come back, but they may not be the versions that we know. So retroactively, anything is on the table. So that's how they could bring him back. Well, as long as they don't mess with Deadpool, leave him alone, please.
Don't. I don't want your fans to yell at me. I am not a Deadpool fan. I am not. Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool is playing Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool playing Ryan Reynolds. I just cannot get into Deadpool. I've tried, and I'm in the minority, so I realize that. I realize that I am not a Deadpool fan.
Well, I think Disney is not going to. Disney's not going to bring him into the MCU. I think they want to keep him separate.
No, it wouldn't work.
I think that they are not, ready to kill off that cash cow. But yeah, we won't see Deadpool because of how different him breaking the fourth wall versus trying to keep the MCU more serious, if you could call it serious. But I mean, it's not dark like the DC universe, but it's not.
He's too busy poking fun at it.
The DC universe needs a lot of work. The only thing I like about that is that the Arrowverse on the television is fantastic. I am one of the few people that love crossovers, and when done right, oh man! And the last two Arrowverse crossovers have been fantastic. I just don't like. I'm a big. I had Crisis on Infinite Earths, the entire series, when I was younger. I collected it, so I know the whole background story of the multiple Earths, and then them returning and disappearing, returning. I'm so tired of retconning things, just getting me ill.
Right.
But I'm kind of hoping they find some way to bring the Supergirl character to Earth 1 and leave it that way.
Well,
I love the crossovers.
I thought the DC TV universe has done an exceptional job of for them.
Yeah, that's it. Total.
It's been.
I'm waiting to see if Black Lightning crosses over too, because they need to do that.
Right.
It's just. Sorry, it's got to be that way.
But as far as the movies are concerned, I know me as a kid. Grew up watching Justice League as a kid back in the 70s, and then ultimately thinking, that would be awesome to see that on the big screen. And then when the promise was starting to kind of warm up and they started doing the Batman and Superman and blah, 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 it felt rushed. Because I think with Marvel was hitting it out of the park. Let's face it. They've done pretty solid how they've managed to get the MCU on the big screen. And I think in some degree, at least in my opinion, DC has failed because they've wanted to rush things. and not properly, vet the stories and build the characters and interest. And I think in that aspect, a lot of things have fallen. What are your thoughts on that?
First off, as far back as I can remember, of the two universes, Marvel's always been the more grittier and dirty in the universes. Now, when I say dirty, I don't mean it being just darker. It had more problems. If you look at the whole X-Men run with bigotry and mutants being feared and hated, the world they're sworn to protect and everything, and always had more. It wasn't as optimal as the DC universe, where you have the iconic Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. They've been around for 60, 70 years now. Superman is supposed to be a symbol of hope for everything.
Right.
And I don't know what DC Comics or what Warner Brothers or what the Rabbit was smoking, but at that point, when they made the Man of Steel dark and Superman killed, no, that's not Superman. Now, there are people going to say, yeah, he's killed in the comics. Oh, this is John Byrne did. He killed people with kryptonite. I get it. But Superman doesn't kill.
Do you think it was because Batman, Snyder's take on it, dark and gritty with Justin Bell, did that kind of inspired that darkness?
I think they got carried away. I think that with Batman, you can inspire darkness because Batman was born on a tragedy and just like emotional scarring. We all know Batman's story, but to take it one step further with Superman, and even that costume. Now, I'm not talking about the actors again. I personally thought Ben Affleck was a great Batman. I thought Henry Cavill did fantastic Superman. Gal got it perfect as Wonder Woman, which I think was the only movie that was successful. Wonder Woman was incredible.
I'm over here biting my tongue.
For some reason... Pardon me?
I'm biting my tongue. Keep going.
She loves Wonder Woman.
Okay. Wonder Woman was fantastic. That was everything. I thought it was better than Captain America because it's just the visuals, the visuals, the story. They nailed everything right. They did it in the right proportions to comparable to modern day storytelling, and I thought that it was very effective, and I liked it. I really did like it. Superman, Man of Steel. It was just, the Avengers defended New York from the Chitauri, and New York didn't get destroyed. 3 Kryptonians wrecked Metropolis. Which city do you want to go live in?
Henry Cavill is nice to look at. When he has his shirt off,
he's a lady stud muffin, admit it.
It's a fun time, but I don't really get anything out of him as Superman, although I did enjoy Amnesia Superman in Justice League.
His performance in Justice League was better than it was in Man of Steel because someone told him to lighten up.
Mm-hmm.
I also and this is plug for you, Jim. Music makes a movie.
Oh yeah. I tell you, when I hear
John Williams' Superman theme is iconic.
Oh, it is.
And I hated the movie theme for Man of Steel, and I know that what's his name, who did the original Batman movie theme, put a little bit of John Williams in Justice League, and I heard it, and I'm like, yes.
Exactly. I was like, oh wow, that's. Did you hear that? I was telling Solana during the movie. I said, that's the Superman theme. It got me excited. It brought back me as a kid. Like just totally digging it. And
he did the same thing that we had the original Batman theme that he created in the beginning of it. You heard like yes, and then of course whoever did the Wonder Woman theme, that
she is
the movie.
Everything
was 100% hit on that movie.
Oh, I love her theme music.
Yeah, her theme music is just awesome, and of course
And of course, I think that Wonder Woman actually saved Man of Steel. I mean, Superman and Batman.
Oh, no doubt. Yes, no doubt.
I'm still at a loss why it wasn't called Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, or just simply called Trinity, because that's what it should have been called.
Mm-hmm.
I have no use.
You really want to scope the DC fans.
That Cyborg character, I was like, my dad Robocopped me, and I'm all mad about it. I'm like, well, go home. Nobody needs you.
Cyborg Cyborg was a member of the new Teen Titans back in the 80s. I don't know why they bumped him up to the Justice League, but when it was written by Marv Wolfman and George Perez, I mean, Cyborg was a member of the Titans. And it was Robin, Changeling, Wonder Girl, Kid Flash, Cyborg, and Raven, and Starfire. And that was, the stories were of the same type of X-Men level stories. Everything was poignant. Everything was fantastic. A little more science fiction-y, but they had some great, phenomenal characters. And now, of course, I don't know. It's like the Phoenix Syndrome. She comes back every other year. You're getting tired of it.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm not saying I'm a big fan of comic books. I'm more interested in the writing. I want to read the story. I don't need the visual imagery. You know, if I really want the visual imagery, I'll draw these characters. You know, I'm confident I can draw them pretty well. I mean, not as good from the masters, perhaps, but I'm always learning. And I think I'm a pretty competent artist. But I like to read them. I'll sit down, open a book, and I'll read the whole story. And that's why I think that's what makes a comic book. It's not just the images, but what's going on, the detail behind the story. And as for, like I said, Man of Steel, I don't know what direction they were going in, and I didn't care for the Christian Bale Batman movies either. I thought they were just, I don't know, Batman with a gun, Bat Tank, Bat Bazooka, Bat something. The only thing I thought to save the last Batman movie was Heath Ledger's Joker. Mm-hmm. That was a phenomenal performance. I didn't care for the way it was designed, but the actor pulled it off. Mm-hmm. You know, I always thought the Joker, he's the clown prince of crime, and he's psychotic, and everything can be perfectly meticulous. I didn't understand the whole smearing thing they did with Heath Ledger, but he pulled it off. Mm-hmm. So
I thought he did a good job.
He was I believe he was unhinged. There's something wrong with that guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, it was totally unhinged. I love it. Fantastic characterization of the Joker. I thought it was great. I really did. But, you know, I just don't know what DC's planning. And I'm really ambivalent about Aquaman. I'm really not into Surfer without a clue. I mean, please. Rebel without a clue, give him a surfboard. Surfer without a clue, great.
He's pretty to look at without his shirt off. So there's that.
Yeah, stud muffin material for the women, yeah. I get it.
I bet he's nice to hug, too, so that's just my take on it. If he was up to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the crickets that kicked in.
Yeah, you kind of nothing to do.
Okay.
But, you know, let's see. Okay, we're doing good on time here. So, you know, what is your take overall with how the direction of the MCU has taken place with Disney and producing their films? I mean, obviously, they've made lots of money.
They've revitalized the genre.
Yeah, they've been very popular. You know, they do take some slight creative differences from the comics. But
they pushed it, yeah.
So what's your take?
I will tell you that I think they did the right smart thing. They did the right direction. I think everything about it was smart. I really do. They planned it. I mean, I don't know about you, but after seeing, you know, I got really into what I saw for the first Thor and the 2 Iron Man and Captain America, and they're getting ready to bring the Avengers, and I sat down in Avengers. I thought it was great. Wow. It was ironic that they used Loki, since Loki was the first villain that formed the Avengers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we were also trained by Marvel to stay to the bitter end because they had Marvel moments at every movie. And the moment I realized that they were planning something big is when, at the end of the Marvel moment, when the bad guy stood up from his chair, turned around, and you saw it was Thanos, I and 6 other guys were screaming like little girls that he's in Gauntlet. And I knew this is going to be a brilliant, long series. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever seen anybody attempt it. I thought they were going to do the Infinity Gauntlet. I have that series and the sequel. That's an intense freaking series.
Right.
And Thanos is one of the best Marvel villains ever. But when I saw that, my ex-wife just looked at me like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, you don't understand Thanos, Infinity Gauntlet, the Infinity Stones. And it was just wow. I couldn't believe it when they did it, and I've liked the direction they've taken. There's some of the movies that are okay, and some are better. I think Thor Ragnarok was a phenomenal twist.
That was so
Thor.
great. That was so much fun.
You could tell every one of the actors had a fantastic time. I never thought I'd see Cate Blanchett as playing a supervillain. I'm so used to her playing those ethereal and heavy-duty drama. And I remember being the elf thing from The Lord of the Rings and all those. And then she comes in and got kicked ass and held a goddess of death and the one-liners and everything. Where you can tell the woman had a fantastic time doing this.
Right.
Yeah, you tell.
You can tell they all had a great time.
They're going to bring that director Taika maybe to Guardians of the Galaxy because he has that humor, and of course he played Korg, my favorite character, which is sadly gone now.
Well, after what happened to Gunn, I think that might be the best thing for them to do. It was just a nice direction to thought. I absolutely liked the Black Panther. I thought it was a great story, and I love the actors were good. And it was a really fun story.
I thought they did an exceptional job with Black Panther. Yeah.
I thought, to me, the production values on Black Panther were extensive. I thought they were great. I love the story. I'm not really dissatisfied with any of the Marvel movies. Ant-Man did a kick. Guardians of the Galaxy. I remember the Guardians of the Galaxy being something different when I was a kid collecting comics, but I do love the humor in the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I was very pleased they were in the Infinity War. They did a nice take on Spider-Man. They brought him back properly.
Yes.
I was so glad we didn't have to go through another origin story.
Yeah, they just skipped over
that.
I
am so tired of Uncle Ben getting shot. Enough. Except I was a little strange that Aunt May was actually... Aunt May was young, and not the Aunt May I'm used to.
Right.
But I let it ride because, you know what? The movie was great. I enjoyed it so much. And like you said, I mean, with the incorporation of the X-Men and the Fantastic Four into finally in the Marvel Universe, I kind of expect the end of Avengers 4. We'll see a Marvel moment where all of a sudden the Silver Surfer passes by and then you see the hand of Galactus showing up. Then I'll be screaming like a 5-year-old little girl again.
Well,
meaning the Fantastic Four finally becoming
invested as you are in this world, but when we saw Infinity Wars, I really enjoyed it, and I don't even have a clue what's kind of going on, and I kind of, because it'd been out a while, I knew about half of them disappearing, and the only thing that really kind of got me and upset me was when little Spooder Man said, "No, I don't want to go." I'm like, damn it. I was like getting teary-eyed.
Yeah, that was pivotal. I think that was a deliberate move on their part. I know
that's
brilliant.
So Disney, though.
That was brilliant.
Because of the relationship that Stark has with him in this movie.
Yeah.
You get that. So.
I guess Nebula is going to get Stark back to Earth.
Yeah. So anyway, before we go any further...
Nebula, Rocket, and the rest will be joining the new Avengers that probably go after Thanos. I hear the Hulk's going to have probably a significant change in Avengers 4. Rumor has Professor Hulk coming out.
Hulk. All right, everybody, hold tight. We're going to take our break here. It's the bottom of the hour, and we got Bill Lutz that we're talking to, and just a wealth of different information, and we'll continue to pick his brain, and we'll have a good time. I'm Spaceboy, she's Solana, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe on spaceboyuniverse.com. Be right back.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Solana.
The epic battle begins this Friday. Direct from ringside at Laser Death Melt. It's Bot versus Bot in Galaxy's 2-ton weight championship, where your challenger, Good Bot, will face the reigning champion, Bad Bot.
You're terminated.
Reserve seating starting at $30. 2-drink minimum, where ladies don't get in free. This is an SBU production. You're listening to Space Boy Universe.
You are listening to Space Boy Universe. Here are your hosts, Space Boy and Sir Lana.
You know, Sir Lana, most times when we do shows with guests, they're quite entertaining off the air when we're taking our breaks. And Bill is definitely that kind of guest that we're having tonight. And it's been fun. Bill has been doing his sketches and his things while we've been
being interviewed.
Yeah, and so far he said that It's been great, and so we'll continue this trek along.
It's nice to know we're not wasting his time.
Exactly. Hey, at least we're wasting it together.
You know what? I'm very relaxed right now. When I'm relaxed, I can draw up a storm. And, I can walk and chew bubble gum like the rest of us, I think. And so I can draw. And as I was telling you, I'm working on Pathway 6, doing my layouts for Sentient. And I am drawing Charles Root as the evil villain World Smasher, which is really ironic because World Smasher is becoming the iconic representation of Pathways. Charles is a wonderful person, and he played the character of Scotty in one of the Star Trek fan films, and I got to know him. And again, he's one of my partners at DPM. Fantastic human being, really good guy, loves being World Smasher. He's posed. I've got a lot of pictures of Charles in suits and everything. World Smasher is basically your 1%er, blue blood, economically powerful supervillain. Not only does he rule the world with iron fists, but he knows how to hit you economically. And Charles has played up to a big time. We put up a mock cover out for Pathway 6 on Facebook. On Facebook, where his wife Amanda took a picture of him, and my colorist Rob went to add special effects, and I tweaked up with a little comic book look to it, and we're using it as an alternate cover for Pathway 6. And it's a picture of Charles holding like a sherry glass and lightning coming out of his other hand, and it just nailed it as World Smasher. Totally nailed the character. He has been instrumental in motivating me to get these issues out as well.
Yeah, you don't know this yet, but Space Boy might be a future comic in your future.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. My comic book goes out to the universe, and there's everything.
Unless
not a problem.
Bill can teach me how to draw in the comic book style by taking photos of you and then drawing over the pose or something. That's the only way I could possibly do it. But have you ever cosplayed as any one of your original characters yourself?
I'm afraid no. Unfortunately, I am not in the kind of shape my characters are in. Let's just simply say, as you said in the beginning when you introduced me, I was a wine sommelier, but a beer aficionado. Mm-hmm. I like beer a little too much. Mm-hmm. I am definitely, you could say, I would be on the team of Bud Man when he was a superhero back in the 60s. I'm a bear-sized kind of guy, and I'm trying to lose weight, but it's difficult. It is.
You have to tell me.
It's not that I don't want to. Believe me, I'm a lot stronger than I look. It's just my stomach's a real pain in the neck. And I know this, you put your foot down and you do all the, you take the diet, you do this, take the willpower. Yeah, I get it. I understand. I understand. I don't offer excuses. I just know I'm overweight and I'm trying to lose it. But I'm also trying to live my life on other things. My drawing is the paramount reason of my life right now because I love to draw.
Well, you're in a no judge zone here, so don't feel like any pressure that Solana's saying, you must eat celery from now on.
God, no, you never hear that from me. But
it's funny that I am overweight, and everyone thought I had diabetes or something. I've had 2 tests already, not for diabetes. The funny thing is, granted, I like Coke Zero. It's bad for you. I don't eat sugary things. I try to eat healthy. I just eat a lot.
Well, I like to use the George Burns comparison. He smoked cigars all the way up to the day that he died. He lived past 100, I believe, something to that effect.
Up there.
Yeah, and so and then you have somebody.
Well, there was a rumor that George Burns. There was a rumor that George Burns actually was God, come down to earth, because he never died. Smoking cigars and everything.
He was a Highlander. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm. There can only be one. But yeah, and then you have somebody who might eat celery for their whole life, and they die like at 40. So it's just a random luck of the draw
here.
It's
going to kill you.
When your time comes, it's your time, and so if you're happy living your life, then who am I to like?
And you've got drawing that keeps you happy and fulfilled, and you're passionate about. Thank God you have that that keeps you going?
Well, I mean, I think one of the things that kept me going too is I worked the restaurant business like every other starving artist, every level up and down, and I was competing with people half my age. And what kind of moment when you're waiting at a bartender and you walk out with not more money than they do, it kind of makes you feel good too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
so that's just it's just. I think it's environment. I think it's a lot of things. I'm not a scientist. I don't know. I don't understand it. All I do know, there's just way too many diets out there. There's way too many things to do, and it's all conflicting and confusing, and they all should burn for that. Okay, that's my statement for the night.
Yeah. But yeah, I like that you have this drive for your drawing, and then you're involved in this production with Jim and Jody. I admire that. I wish I had something that I felt that strongly about. I don't know if I used to or not. I don't know. It's just, I don't know, life can get in the way a lot and just sort of like crush your hopes and dreams. Okay, I won't go off into that tangent, but anyway.
Well, I'll say this, because I know where Solana's going, is that we have day jobs, and the frustrating part is that, you know, I'm not trying to brag or anything. We have talents that we're good at. And it's frustrating in the sense that we wish we could donate our efforts to that talent, but I guess in our adult mind, it's like, okay, we got to pay the mortgage, we got to pay the car payment, you know. So it's trying to balance between the two, and I guess the Spaceboy Universe program really gives us an opportunity to both do something creative and enjoy together. Shush. And but at the end of the day, you know, it's a balancing act. So, you know, we recognize that.
Well, I think you being involved with Bill in this scoring this production, it's a use of your talent, so that keeps you going. So that's why I'm just delighted for you. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have some skills that are atrophying because I don't have an outlet for them. And then by the time I get home, I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I don't know what's wrong with me. So,
well, I won't lie to you. It's hard to get behind the drawing table a lot of times. And between, like I said, I teach computer sciences during the day. You go in there, you get home, and you just want to sit back and relax. And I am studying for a master's degree. Like this whole day today was dominated by writing papers, doing discussions, taking a really annoying proctored exam. I failed to see what good that is when you're doing online coursework, but hey, I'm just a student now. And then the weekend is only 2 days because for some reason the gods believe we should work ourselves to death. Other countries are trying the 4-day weekend, and that's working. There's so much I want to do. And I found out later on, as I got older, that if I don't do it now, you know, I'm not going to get a chance to do it. And in my 40s, I was, like I said, I was starting to video edit, was working in production crews. My drawing started kicking back in. And now I'm just drawing like crazy. I'm trying to get my master's degree. I intend to get my master's in multimedia after this.
Wow, that's ambitious.
It's very ambitious. I don't know if I'm going to do that online. That's going to be interesting. I originally was going to go for my doctorate in IT, but I decided the only reason I was doing it is because two of my friends, actually my mentor at school and a good friend of mine who when I worked at ITT, the three of us were always together at that school, and they're going for their doctorates. And I just, you know what?
Don't get peer pressured into PhDs.
It's not me.
Yeah.
No, top it off. It costs a lot more than a master's, and I am paying for my master's degree out of pocket. I'm not doing student loans. They destroyed me the last time.
Yes.
I'm still recovering from them. I am never doing student loans again. Never.
I understand. That's how I got through undergrad. I did get into grad school through I work at a university, but I got in through that, and they discounted the tuition a bit, but not enough. So, I mean, I hear you when you're talking about, you know, you're writing papers, you're doing studying. It was a Master of Science in Technical Communication, but I ran out of time and money, so I didn't get very far, but I really, really liked it. I really enjoyed it. If there was a way to go back, I would do it. Of course, Spaceboy Universe would suffer, but, well.
Right. Well, I knew these masters if I want to continue teaching, because apparently, even though I've been teaching all the computers for a long time and I'm doing my website design, I'm teaching multiple servers and I'm building networks and stuff, and doing it on every level, unless I have a little piece of paper that blesses me, it doesn't matter if they have the equivalency of 2 or 3 master's degrees. No. You have to have that paper that costs you like $50,000 saying, I'm an official now.
Mm-hmm.
We don't judge people on their efforts. We judge them on a piece of freaking paper.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of annoying because
I agree.
You can't even get life credits when I have to pay for them, and it's frustrating.
A lot of people are going toward non-traditional alternatives too, because of the cost of tuition and the time it takes to invest in this stuff. They're going a lot of things are doing, like where I work. They're offering these 1 to 2 year graduate certificates in something very specific. Like, I need a certificate to become a principal, or I need a certificate to get certified to do this nonprofit thing. And so that's like, there's all these other alternative ways around the traditional, master's degree. Which,
I'm very wary. I'm very worried about those, because it's like the certificates. Like, you get a certification in Linux, you get a certification in MSC. 1 year they're popular, next year no one's looking at them. Next year they're popular.
Right.
It's kind of like I get worried about that. And then the higher educational places that are offering the standard types of education, they don't want to see those certificates. It's like, well, you don't have a degree. How do you know to teach? And you meet these people, you look at them like, how did you get to teach?
Well, you do have to have a bachelor's where I am to get into the grad cert, so it's like you can't just jump in with nothing behind you. So,
yeah, well, I have an associate's and a bachelor's degree, and I'm working on my master's right now. I want to get some certifications, but I just don't want to drop $200-$300 down on a certification that if I don't pass, I don't get my money back. Sorry, at least in college I can. There's a guarantee I'm going to get a diploma if I keep plugging myself.
Right.
Yeah. I miss it. I miss being a student. I know it sounds... I hated high school. I hated every aspect of it. When they said, well, when you get to college, all that stuff drops off. And it did. And I enjoyed some aspects of college. But when I got into grad school, all the things I didn't like about college, like having to take courses that are not in your major that you're interested in, all that goes away.
Like group hugging and basket weaving.
Yeah, all that went away, and grad just took it to another level. And I picked the courses, and it's just like, here's a basket you pick these courses out of, and then if they're offered when you want them. But everything I didn't like about undergrad went away when I got to grad school. It's like it got better, better, and better. So it's just
when I went to the school, I hated high school. I was also very much picked on in high school. You want to talk about a war? Try surviving the '80s.
Yep.
In a rich town. Believe me, when your parents are teachers and you don't have money, and it's when you're not upwardly mobile in the '80s of all places, and on Long Island. And when I got out of high school, I never looked back. I despised every moment of it. It was, to me, probably one of the darkest times of my life.
Yep.
When I got to college, School of Visual Arts in New York City, everything changed. And SVA was perhaps one of the best times of my life. I met a lot of great people. I'm in touch with a whole bunch of them. We got back together talking to them. One of my friends, he's a phenomenal illustrator and cartoonist. His name is Henry Martinez. We've been talking about doing artwork together. He'll hopefully do a villain's cover for me. Reminder, Henry, you owe me one for Mars vs. Earth if you're listening. And a few of my other friends from SVA I've been talking to. And it just... SVA was a great... It opened my eyes to everything. And you're exposed to everything. Well, a lot of your prejudices are burned out in art school, trust me.
Mm-hmm.
And it just teaches you a lot. And I really was very pleased with going to... And I, of course, loved living in Manhattan. I stayed in dormitories and then got apartments later on. Manhattan it still is my favorite city in the world.
I
haven't been half much of the world, but
I love about college too. Now I didn't stay on dorms. I still lived with my parents, but because it was the university was local from my hometown, but all the people that were bothering me, there were a few, there weren't many, but all the people that were bothering me in high school, they all disappeared as soon as we got to college. I don't know if they all went out of state or they went straight to jail, but never saw them again. It was great. If I still never see them again, it's going to be great. You know, I'm sure their kids are probably out there now. No, I feel the same way. But
I didn't maintain contact on one or two people from high school. The rest of them, literally, could drop dead. I didn't care for them, and I mean, it was, you know, the Breakfast Club. It wasn't. Let's put it that way.
No.
And I never associated them. I remember I got an invite to a reunion, and they asked me to do the artwork. I sent back a picture of all my cartoon character time with the middle finger up, saying no. The last thing I want to do is see you people. There's your artwork. I signed it.
But Bill,
and they never contacted me again.
Can you imagine those? So it sounds like you and I might be a similar age, because I was in high school, starting like in 86, 87 through till 1990.
I graduated high school in 84.
Okay, so kind of a little crossover there. But can you imagine, Bill, being bullied today, where you've got the extra layer of social media and cell phones on you all the time? I mean, at least we had an anonymity and some privacy with our bullying. But I just can't imagine the extra layers of exposure that there is on kids today. I wouldn't tolerate it. I mean, if I have the ability to stop it, I would do it. I mean, I know what it's like to be bullied, and it's wrong on every level. And I don't care if anybody says, well, it makes you a stronger person. Well, be woo boo hoo, you got bullied. No, it does damage. No, it makes you angry.
It makes me angry because the school administration is not taking the time to react to the needs of students, and parents who think it's okay or justify it because it happened to them in their case back when they were in the days of the mining and they drove their cars with their feet and everything. Yeah, we get it. You know, stop it now, because, you know, it develops people into what they are. The bullying did have an effect on me. It probably made me draw even more, to be honest with you. But it's an unwarranted issue. It's an unwarranted situation, and there needs to be repercussions held for it. You know, I don't know what the answer is. Seems like everything in the United States these days is to the extreme on every level. Mm-hmm. But kids should not need to be bullied. And I think that they should have the same opportunity. I just hate it. I despise it. And that's one of the reasons why I don't really care for my high school.
Yeah. Same thing.
On that morbid note, right?
Yeah. Well, see, my brother and sister are 10 and 13 years older than me, so they went through the same high school I ended up going through, and they had a different experience. It seemed like it was a little bit worse for them, and it wasn't. I had one bad year, and that was it. I kind of got lucky, but that one bad year sticks out rather than the other three that were okay. So.
Yeah. My experience was probably far worse. Bad year, and a lot of familial issues that just was one of the reasons why I moved to the city and I tried to strike out on my own. High school life was exceptionally difficult. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I agree.
But I draw a lot now.
Yeah. But I think that's awesome that you sent that. You flipped the bird with your cartoons. I don't even know how they would find me at this day to
I don't know how they found me either. Actually, it was sent to my parents' house when I was I lived there, and I just took some time and sent it back. I want nothing to do with those people, you know, and I've been better off for it since.
Well, you know,
a little bit lonely at times, but you know what? It's better off that way. You know, life of an artist, if you want to say. Let the stereotype me, the lonely artist out there drawing. You know.
I personally was affected by bullying when I was in middle school and in my freshman year, and then my parents moved to a different part of the town, and I went to a different school, and it gave me an opportunity to reinvent myself. And if it wasn't for that opportunity, there's no telling how far down the rabbit hole I would have gone as far as the bullying was concerned. And it really impacted me majorly. And to this very day, I'm very... you know, when I see somebody being in that position, I immediately want to be the right hand of justice and taking care of that situation.
Yeah, you're all about justice to the point where I think sometimes you need to calm down.
Well, you have to realize too, bullying is one step away from just attacking a person for being different.
Mm-hmm.
Bullying is the developmental stage of bigotry. So, at least that's my opinion.
No, I agree.
And I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I see it's happening too much lately in the United States. I just don't like it. I guess another reason why I moved to cities too, because of the epic diversity.
Mm-hmm.
There's no homogenation when you're in the city. Now, a lot of people disagree with me. Maybe people, and this is not to say that living in the city is a great thing. People don't like living in the city. People like the suburbs and the country, and that they're perfectly willing for all that. That's a wonderful thing. Me, I like the diversification because there's always something to do, and there's always something to see, and you never get bored. Because I'm the kind of guy that would get real bored in suburbia very quickly.
Mm-hmm. I live there too. Yeah.
I just love cities. My friends love cities. But I go see my friends live in the suburbs and everything. And there's some great things up there. I go up to see Jim and Jody, Charles, and everybody up in Vermont. There's some great places up in Vermont. I always beg Jim and Jody to take me to and I forgot the name of the restaurant again, and they're going to kill me because I love that restaurant. They got great beer there. Charles, my friend Charles, he took me down to Burlington, and I love Burlington. Nice little city, really cool, very artsy, lots of art stuff. I thought was great. And I've seen other different cities, which I like, and that's the kind of person I am. I think the cities are just a wonderful thing to diversify, and you can be yourself, and there's no judgment.
Well, that's what we like, is no judgment. Like I said before, just zero tolerance when it comes to bullies, and that's why I think a lot of the Space Cadets, they come to the chat room like coming to hanging out, because it's just a wonderful environment to hang out. So, hey, Bill, it's the top of the hour. These things go pretty quick. So let's take the top of the hour break. I guess if you're open, we'll open the phone lines. Will open. If somebody wants to call in.
Sure, I'll be gutsy for that.
Okay. And then if they don't, I got some things I want to pick your brain on.
We still got stuff to talk about.
Cool.
Don't touch that dial, and we'll be right back.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sirlana.
Greetings, Space Cadets. Let's see what's in the sky tonight in the Spaceboy Universe. Tonight, in the eastern sky, we have Spaceboy Universe rising above the horizon in glorious splendor. And in the west, we can see Solanus Majoris, which is visible at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, just below the K28 belt. So keep your eyes on the sky and listen to Spaceboy Universe.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sirlana.
Hey, it's never a dull moment here at Spaceboy Universe. You never know what's going to crawl up your leg. But anyway, so, with that magical note, our guest tonight has been Bill Lutz and Sirlana, and I have enjoyed chit-chatting with him, and the show is still going on. And Sirlana, I guess we've got the phone lines open in case somebody wants to call and talk to Bill, but that number is 833-202-SBUN. It's 833-202-7286. Yeah, see, I just realized I have the postie on my monitor. Anyway, Sirlana, did you have something else for Bill?
Bill, you teach and you've taught web design. In this day and age, is there even... Look, I already know the answer to this, so don't go off the deep end, Bill. But in your opinion, in this day and age, is there a real need to learn coding for web design when you've got all these spaces like, hey, don't even have to know how to code, build a website for free? Your opinion?
Even more the reason why you need to code. Even more the reason why.
Well, customizing, right?
You can by customizing, you can learn how to code, you can learn backend, you can learn how to program, you can learn how to add PHP to your repertoire. You can design data storage backhouses for websites. My students are taught how to code before they go and play all that stuff. My nephew wants to build a website on Wix. He's 10 years old. He can do that. But you don't know how and why a website's made. You should learn the coding.
See, I knew that was
I'm a big believer in that, and all my students will learn the coding before they do anything else. Any of them come in and cheat on me, I'll know.
So my best friend up until this last spring semester of 2018 also taught web design at a university as a lecturer. Oh my God, the stories she told me. And of course I wouldn't have you reveal anything like that. But so I taught myself how to code back in 1990, whatever, when there wasn't that much HTML code to know. It was very basic back then. But I opened Notepad and I started with, the open HTML, the head, the title, the body, closed all those tags, hello world, and then you're off and running. And I am so freaking glad I did it. And I had an HTML for Idiots book, and I had a GeoCities website. That's how long ago I started dabbling. So I'll go and buy or, get somebody else's template and I'll bash it, and I'll go and get the CSS and I'll rip that all apart to like I want. And it's, he's got websites that we use, a free thing, but you can go in there and you can touch the code if you go to the right place. And I'm like, well, I don't like the way that looks. I know how to go in there and change it. So I think there's still plenty of value in learning the hard way, the long way.
Well, like Sirlana,
I can't.
I was going to say,
I can't disagree with you on that one. You need to learn the coding. It makes you stand out if you understand the coding. I can't stress it enough. I don't know how to articulate it even better. It's just, we're in an age where things don't warp speed, but to learn the coding is important. And I'm still learning. I never stop learning with website design. I got tons of. I tried.
They keep updating it too.
WordPress, but I'm more getting into the back end stuff. PHP 5, MySQL, how it relates to databasing and how that relates into the websites. And I'm teaching that. And I'm also going to teach my students basic elementary design. You got to learn how to place the images and do it the hard way before you can go and cheat like everybody else does. That makes you a better designer. You have more appreciation of the skill by learning from scratch. That's my opinion.
Well, here's my beef with it. In trying to find some jobs for my friends, who are looking for. I'm telling it. There seems like to me there is a difference between the title of web designer and web developer, and that's what irritates me. So I'm like, they want somebody to design a website or web page. That to me, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to know PHP and JSON and Java and what's that other one I like? I want, I'm designing the content, the layout, and maybe how it actually functions, but Let somebody else do that boring crap. You know, I don't want to go learn all that stuff. I just don't have time.
Well, the thing is that the boring stuff, too, can help you get more money.
True. We do have a caller.
That's one of the reasons I
if you'd like to take a caller there, Bill, let's see who this is. I better know.
I'm scared they're going to beat me up or something.
No, this is going to be our marriage counselor, I bet. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, it's our marriage counselor.
I'm here.
Hey, Bev.
Hey,
how are you?
Right.
You got some questions?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing now that your AC is working?
Much cooler.
Much cooler.
Much cooler. Even the roaches are liking it. They're coming out the woodwork to show their appreciation. You got any questions for Bill tonight, our guest?
I just wanted to tell him that kudos to him for standing up to bullying.
It's I just don't believe in it. I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
I mean, being someone who was bullied all my life, that's just I don't believe in it.
She
it's
also
wrong.
thinks
it's
you're
wrong on every
smart.
level.
She also thinks you're smart too, Bill.
I was. Yes. See, I was bullied all through school too, and I know what it can do to a child. There was times when I just didn't even want to go on living.
Yeah, that's another thing you got to be worried about, especially with today's society too, with the advent of social media. It's not right on every level, and I can feel for the kids these days.
Oh, and I personally think that bullies like to bully to make themselves feel good because they don't feel good about themselves.
I have no disagreement with you on that. I believe you're right.
I mean, it makes them look popular, and it makes them popular. And it's
popularity will get you so far. Then you graduate and go into real life. So.
Uh-huh. And then reality hits.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, oh, I don't have anybody to bully. Now what do I do?
Or you end up working for the bully, and the bully's your boss. It's just like, oh, I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, they do find some of them do find a niche in the real world, and for us, getting jobs, and they continue to be jackasses, and they get promoted and get higher, and then that's the part that upsets me. I have a good work ethic. I'm a nice person. I learn how to bite my tongue, get along, and I get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you want to buy a taser.
Yeah. And in school, they look for the most vulnerable child, because I was never a fighter. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't stand up to anybody.
I had to leave a school and go to another school because of it.
Oh.
To get away from it.
My mom and dad was at the schools that I attended constantly. Mm-hmm. It's like, and where we grew up, if we wanted to go to a different school, we had to pay extra tuition, and my mom and dad couldn't afford that.
Oh, I was going to a private school where this was going on. It was expensive, and they took me out, put me in public school, and they saved like hundreds of dollars per month on me by doing that. So it actually worked out.
Well, that's good. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it's sad, and now you have the internet.
Well,
it does require. Well, it does require also that family members and for younger people, and especially for the teenagers, they do have to police the internet sometimes too.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be some help accountability, especially on the internet. Now we all know social media, especially Facebook, can bring the dark side of all of us out. But it does. I'm not perfect. I've had my dark side moments on Facebook because it gives me that immortal feeling that person's somewhere on the other side of the planet, will never come near me, But with kids, it's different, and I don't like it with kids. I don't like what that's done with kids, and there has to be some accountability being held by parents, or if it's done on a place of school, something like administrators being held accountable and stuff.
Right. And nowadays, if you don't wear name brand clothing, you don't fit in.
I have never worn name brand clothing, and it fits. I like it. It's bloody bad.
Us kids never did either. I mean, my mom and my grandma used to make all of us girls as our clothes.
Yeah, my mom sewed too, but I got compliments because Mom was really good at it. So,
well, Bev, we appreciate you calling into the universe.
Yeah.
And are you glad? Are you glad we're back on?
Oh yes, Saturday would not be the same without you guys.
Well, we're glad to hear that because Saturday.
That's so cool to hear.
Yeah, Saturday wouldn't be the same without hearing from our favorite Bev to marriage counseling.
And I love you guys.
Hey, we love you too, and thank you both, Robert and Bev, for helping us. And we appreciate you.
I wish we could have done more.
Bev, y'all have done so much for the universe. Don't even think twice about it. We know we love you, and we just want to make sure both you and Bob know that.
Oh, well, thank you. And we both love you very much.
Thank you, Bev.
We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
All
righty. Bye-bye, you two. Bye,
Bye-bye.
Bill.
Bye-bye.
Our number one fans.
Yeah, our number one fans. They're
That's so cool.
Belle, she calls in every week, and it's always a pleasure. Usually, she helps us get through our marriage crisis.
Yeah, we usually did by 11 p.m. We've deteriorated into some kind of and she'll call in. It's like, what's going on? forgot what we were fighting about the last time. Something about pillows, or you're invading my space when I'm sleeping and I don't like it, or something like that.
Well, it's not important. Let's not bore Bill with the sadness of a deteriorating marriage that we call Space Boy and Sir. So, where do we go from here, Sir?
Well, I just wanted, because I knew he taught web design. I just thought I'd get that perspective.
Well, I personally, when I first started building, when Space Boy, I was trying to get Space Boy onto the internet back in '99. I personally was like, okay, I had no HTML kind of training whatsoever. I bought a book. I found, and back then I was like, okay, let me save this website, and I looked at the HTML.
That's what I did. You saw something you like, you just grabbed your code and you pulled it apart.
Well, I looked at it and said, okay, that's how that's done. Because I don't recall there being anything where, okay, I could go take this and get certified on that, or go take this course. Yeah, and so. It was very barbaric the way I built the site, but it worked.
But you learned.
Yeah, and I learned, and it was functional.
Like if you have to take this out, that goes away.
And I'm about to say something, Bill and Sirlana. At this point, I really don't care about learning the workings beyond a certain point, because I've got so many different things I got to do and that I want to do.
I already know, based on what you don't want to do. I went and found a teeny little include script, and it works off of Ajax, which I don't know anything about, but I know enough to get a script that's already put together.
And be dangerous.
If it's like a server-side include or something that's already, it says, grab this script, stick it here, put that there. I mean, I can read instructions.
But it's, going back to what I was saying, is that even today, that when we've come across things for SBU, and I've purposely looked for scripts and things like that, because I say, I like that, and I just fall back to my natural instinct of ripping something apart, see how it works, and then backwards engineering.
It was fun when I had time.
That's the best way to learn.
Yeah.
That's the best way to learn, especially if you're coding. So nothing wrong with that at all. That's one of the best ways to do it. I wish other people would do it. That's why I try and part of my students. There's nothing wrong with looking at the code, understanding where it's coming from, and fooling around with it. But with my students, they have to learn the code. They have to learn the HTML.
Right.
We're learning HTML5 right now. They have to learn it. It just, it will make them a better designer and a better developer.
The troubleshoot. I mean, all you have to do is leave out one bracket, or stick, or forget your quotation mark, and then your page will work up to this point, and then the rest of it's missing, or nothing will display.
It's going to work. You could be a bad speller like me.
And it just, and you'll pull your, that's why I gave up a lot of the web development. It was just the aggravation, of course, cussing out Dreamweaver. that took up a lot of time, but I still use that program. It's come a long way. It's gotten a lot better, but I'm sure I'm like the last person that's actually still using Dreamweaver.
Well, at least it's not front page.
Oh my God! Let me tell you, I could tell you about SharePoint horror stories. Let me tell you about SharePoint as a front end facing web page host is a freaking nightmare. It should not be used for that, and that's what it's being used for at my job. It's strictly for back end, bare bones, stripped down inner office communications, not for hosting a front facing website. It's just the most horrible thing.
Tell us how you really feel, Sir Lon.
I wish I could take it and beat it like a fax machine from Office Space into the back alley. So that's just my rant. So sorry about that, Bill.
No, it's okay. That's okay. I'm having a great time. I'm enjoying all this.
No, well, good.
So cool.
So let's talk about. Let's see. Do you do any gaming or video gaming or virtual reality?
Nope. No, okay. I really don't. I'm not a gamer. I play a couple games, but yeah, I'm really not a gamer at all. I think I just missed that phase. That's after my time. I never really got into it.
We aren't really either.
I see people into it.
I think we're casual gamers.
Yeah, we're like PC casual and on our phone gamers. Like we have Steam for on our PCs.
And we keep up with modern gaming in general for the show. But
we watch, YouTubers that play certain games. But
yeah, but
I am intrigued by the virtual reality games.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had him watching. There's this virtual reality thing where you put your headset on and you've got your lightsabers and you're destroying blocks to the beat of a song, and it's the Star Wars lightsabers. It's called Saber Beat. That looks like fun. Now that's the kind of gaming I could get into if you could afford to get a system for that VR stuff. But that's the only thing that.
No, I would love a lightsaber. Just the whole concept. I'd love a lightsaber. It'd be really great.
My poor sister just said that I played Fortnite 2 times after Comic Palooza when she was down here. And it didn't go well for her. But yeah, I keep up with it. I mean, for me, I was at the right time because my parents bought a Pong in the early 70s, and we played that. And then all of a sudden, we got the Atari 2600, and that's kind of like gaming has been in my blood ever since then. And so, I admit that I'm not as hardcore as I used to be. In the 90s, I was playing Civilization, games that took for a long time. But as I've gotten older, I like to play those quick games, just play and get it over with and out the door. So I'm not, I don't spend a lot of time playing games, but it's still, when I do, I'll play a hardcore session of games and get it out of my system. But that's my gaming thing. Right now I just bought Tempest 4000, which is a spin off the game Tempest,
right,
by Atari. And what I like about it is it's kind of an updated modern version of it, and it has this great soundtrack to it. Dun-dun-dun. And that's what really drives me, is that when a game has some good music to it, you could play it for hours and hours, and so that's
a good. Going back to music, Bill, what is the best movie you've ever seen that had the best score in it that was just absolutely perfect, merging story with music about all film or even sci-fi? I would guess it would probably be.
It would definitely be sci-fi.
Yeah,
definitely be sci-fi. I'm not even going to say either the Star Trek or the Star Wars movies. I mean, I love the music for both of them. You know what? One movie that really had an effect on me, the music, Superman, the first Superman movie. That music, that theme song, and just even the love song. That to me is just wow. That's where it just complemented everything. And you hear that theme song and you just cheer. I don't cheer as much. I mean, Star Trek has so many different composers. It's crazy. And John Williams' Star Wars is now you're hearing some stuff from the older movies being replayed into it. I just liked his Superman thing. That always had an effect on emotional effect. When Superman arrives, and just you end up cheering.
When you hear that music, it strikes a chord with you in the sense that it not only it conjures the imagery of Superman, but it gives you a feeling of like, all right, things are about to kick in, or it can even go as far as bringing smells and things back to when you were a certain age at that time. And Superman, I agree with you, is one of those, the theme for Superman back then, it conjures such vivid imageries beyond film itself.
Well, for me, when I first noticed a film's score, the music, that actually I was like, what? What is this? And I mean, I really started, it turned me on to this sort of thing. It was 2001: A Space Odyssey, and it was the Also Sprach Zarathustra, which was the dun, 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 where the monkey throws the bone and everybody evolves quickly. That's the one that again? Just absolutely...
Sing it again?
Sorry, I don't do requests. But the music in that, because then they played the Blue Danube, which is one of my favorite classical pieces, and it's a waltz. Waltzes are awesome. And those are the first two pieces of music. I was like, this is amazing how they've used this. So...
You see, the funny thing is, I heard the Blue Danube long before I heard it in 2001, and it was in a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
If I didn't have Bugs Bunny,
so when I heard that in
2001,
I started chuckling.
Yeah, if I hadn't had Bugs Bunny and as a child, I wouldn't know anything about classical music, opera, turn of the century music, like from the 20s, 30s, and 40s, references like that. I wouldn't know anything about World War II propaganda. I mean, it was an education without knowing you're being educated. So,
I learned to appreciate classical music. It was when Bugs Bunny played Hungarian Liszt No. 5 or whatever it was. That's how I learned my first experiment with appreciating good classical music, and I loved it. And I always liked classical music since.
Wagner and Mozart.
Yep.
Yeah.
And most of the time it was either a rabbit or a mouse and a cat doing it for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't have learned about Flight of the Valkyries or the Barber of Seville.
And I think that's great that we learned some of these great pieces of music from cartoons like that. And unfortunately, the kids today don't really get a chance to experience those great classics. And
it's very hard to explain to my students what's opera doc, and it's really discouraging. Because that is perhaps the finest Bugs Bunny cartoon ever made.
We got to see the Houston Symphony Orchestra play live with Bugs Bunny cartoons here in Houston.
That's so cool.
They played the score along with
you love the ending of the movie, and where Elmer Fudd as Thor is carrying the deceased body of Bugs Bunny, and they look up the camera and says, "What do you expect? A happy ending?"
It's opera.
It's opera, and I've always loved Bugs Bunny cartoons. When he teams up with Daffy Duck, that's even better.
I'm telling you, people talk about
Duck, Rabbit, Duck.
Yes, people talk about Laurel and Hardy and these great twin acts from the, there is no better straight man and comedy act duo than Bugs and Daffy, and they didn't get together often, but when they did the rabbit season, duck season in front of Elmer, and they tried to convince him to shoot the other one, that you'll never have. I don't care about who's on first crap. That was classic between Bugs and Daffy.
I love it when Daffy Duck's son went away for a duck to travel underground. And that's when they meet the genie and Alibaba Bunny.
Mine.
Duck, rabbit, duck, yeah.
And then
mine, I'm totally secure.
Yeah, you learn that they have a relationship that's, they're actually friends, but they're pretending not to be for the show. I was like, I liked that kind of subtle backstory.
I said the classic cartoons are my favorite. Then again, like I said, there's one of my all-time personal favorite cartoons is Pinky and the Brain.
And we were talking in the break about the fact that there's the fan theory that Pinky might actually be the genius, and the brain is the one that's gone insane, because Pinky can actually kind of function, you know, in the world, whereas Brain is obsessed with taking over the world. And I'm like, that's not normal. Because he comes up and clean.
I think that theory is somewhat applicable, because it's really, you know, you keep trying. What is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. And I just, for some reason, that cartoon is just one of my all-time favorites. I just, Narf Point, Zort, Egad, the whole, you know, I'm going to have to hurt you. Same thing we do every night, Pinky tries to take over the world. I love that stuff. And that was probably one of the best things that came out of Animaniacs.
Mm-hmm, it really was. It really was. And the two guys who voiced those characters are pretty awesome. They've been in a ton of things that are really iconic. But when they split off and got their own show, I was like, thank God I don't have to watch these pigeons anymore. I don't care about. But
Goodfellow, Goodfeathers.
I couldn't stand Goodfeathers. I didn't like Goodfellows. I don't like Goodfeathers.
I didn't like the girl who says, "Okay, I love you, bye bye," with the dog and the cat. Yeah, I didn't care about that. I did like Aunt Slappy a little bit. They didn't overplay her too much.
I think that she was definitely a big time callback to the original classic cartoons.
Vaudeville type of thing. You know?
But Rob Paulson and Maurice
LaMarche.
Yes, were the characters.
LaMarche or something
like that.
Maurice went off to do Futurama, and I think he still does characters in that universe. And
Paulson did Yakko, I think.
He's also
Yakko.
Yep.
Yes.
As you could hear it, but
then Paulson has his own web show too. I mean, I've seen things on Facebook and I've seen things on YouTube. Yeah, he brings everybody in and they recreate. Like recently, he had the cast of the Justice League Unlimited cartoon voiceover lines from Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Just incredibly silly. But I hear, and I'm hoping that I hope this happens. Netflix has got the rights to brand new Animaniac cartoons.
Yes.
Including Pinky and the Brain.
Cool. I hadn't heard about the Pinky and the Brain, but I definitely had heard about the Animaniacs, and I'm excited about that. I was a big Animaniacs fan when it came out. In fact, I got to meet Rob, Jess, and what's her name? I can't.
Tess. Something.
Yeah.
Tess. Yeah.
Tess. Was it McNeil?
McNeil or something?
Yeah, McNeil. When I was living up in Dallas at the time, I got to meet them all three, and Jess Harnell signed my thing. I told him, I said, "I think you're Fabu," and he wrote on the thing that he signed for me, "I think you're Fabu too."
I love that. Hello.
The fact that you base a character after a voice character after Ringo Starr, that's pure genius.
Yes, exactly. Oh well, look at
I'm hoping that it comes back. So I would love to see more Pinky and the Brain. And I'm hoping it's the same people. You know.
Yeah, it have to be.
Got
they made a big mistake when they did Pinky, Elmira, and the Brain.
They create the magic. So we're at the bottom of the hour. So when we come back, Bill, we'll continue with some final thoughts with you and wrap things up and let people know where we can find you out there in the big wide world web. So don't touch that dial, anybody. We're coming right back.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lotta.
Get your game on Spaceboy Universe. Level up with Spaceboy Universe. No quarters, no problems. Play it at Spaceboy Universe.
listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
All right, we're back, and like I said, it's been a wonderful evening. Bill is just full of conversation on and off the mic.
Should I be his friend?
Well, Bill, should Sir Lana be your friend?
No pressure.
You must be his friend. So, what final questions do we have for Bill tonight?
Well, so
as we start
Bill,
to wind it down,
you're still actively working on Sweepers production with Jim and Jody Bray. Yes, no. What other projects you would like people to know about?
Well, with TechnoFear, we're working on Challenger, which was starring Jody herself. That's her show. I'm editing that and getting ready to deploy special effects and probably tap you out for music. Be prepared. We are talking about another concept called Mother, which is Jim is creating the script for that right now. We are looking at Sweepers episode 2, which we want to get into pre-production. I want to start lining up storyboards for key directional scenes and talking to people, getting the actors back. Even though we haven't released Sweepers 1 yet, I want to get them back and start them 2. It's a kind of a horror-like episode, and I want them to have fun with it. With some Brian Cobal's written some fantastic character developments on Sweepers. My personal life, I'm working on Pathway 6 and Sentient 1 for Dragon Phoenix Media, which we have a website, is dragonphoenixmedia.com, and we're also on Facebook. Please go and like us. I'd like to break 1,000 likes just because it's there, you know. And that people can download samples of our issues from our website, or you can go to Comixology and Amazon and purchase the books. They're like $2.99, $3.99, reasonably priced. The first issue is a double size. It's like 50 pages. It gives you a feeling of what the series is going to be for Pathways: Return of the Frontiersman. Sentient Zero is available to download. Mars vs. Earth Zero is available to download. They're for free on our website. Also, like I said, Mars vs. Earth 1 is coming out, which I can't wait to release. It's a great story and some fantastic artwork. I don't know, what else should I say?
Can we access some of that through dragonphoenixmedia.com?
Yep, dragonphoenixmedia.com, or even on our Facebook, Dragon Phoenix Media on Facebook, or wherever it is. I'm personally in the process of developing a website for my artwork. I'm getting back into that. Older websites I didn't care for. So I'm in the process of reworking it, developing it, to hopefully focus on my graphics, illustration, cartooning careers, possibly even some things for video editing, a reel for video editing. People want to reach me, you can contact me in my email, which is wlutz1701@gmail.com. I'm always willing to talk to people if they want artwork. I love doing artwork. Video editing, artwork, pretty much all that stuff. It's creative. I'm enjoying it. And I've had a wonderful chance working at TechnoFear to do all those stuff, and with some great partners at DPM to continue getting these comic books out.
That's fantastic. You're such, an industrious fellow, and then you're also trying to work and put yourself through school. So I admire many things about you there.
School's expensive.
I wish I had your drive, but I don't know. I'm just old. I'm tired.
I tell you, school is just really, really expensive at times, and it's very frustrating. But I need that degree. I need it for personal and professional reasons, and I want to make it happen. But like I said, I want to keep drawing. And I love, people who need artwork or any kind of stuff like that, please give me a call. Let's talk. Let's set something up.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, Bill, we appreciate you coming on the show tonight, and it's been a big pleasure. And I know that we're going to be doing some good things here soon together, and I need to get back on track now that we have AC in the studio.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we hope that in the future we'll have you back, and to promote Sweepers when that comes out. And
celebration.
Guys, I'm always willing to come back. I loved it here. This was fun.
Well, good.
You guys are great.
We're glad to hear that. All right, so anything else you want to add to the program before we let you go?
Usually my trademark and reply would be NARF, because I am considered the lab mouse of TechnoFear. But I want to say thank you guys. It was great, and I had a really good time, and I hope everybody listens to it. I hope your viewers pummel you guys with questions about this. I had a great time.
Excellent. All right, Bill. Well, have a pleasant evening, and we will be talking to you soon.
Great to talk to you.
All right, good night. Good night, everybody.
Bye, Bill.
Thank you, guys.
All
Everyone
right.
else, have a great night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. A guest.
What?
I say that, a guest tonight, and, we're back,
Are we going to have a guest next week and then the week after that?
Well, we do have somebody scheduled next week, which we'll need to reach out to her.
Make sure to confirm. Hopefully she can be on.
We'll probably be talking about VR.
Yeah, fascinating individual. We hope that you will enjoy talking to Doralice. Doralice. And she is working for an all-female-owned virtual reality company here in Houston that does like escape room and games for parties.
Let's say for instance you don't have a VR equipment. This is a place you can go and experience VR equipment and play games and all sorts of cool stuff dealing with VR. And like Sirlana said, nothing wrong with the woman empowered company owned situation. More power to them. And that's always cool. And, we are pro-women here when it comes to the SBU. A woman can do the job she wants to do if it's what she wants to do. Right, Solana?
Yeah, I shouldn't even have to say that.
I say it anyway because it's just the world we live in.
We should be having Dave Cruz back on August 4th. He had rescheduled, but it worked out.
I think it's maybe not August 4th. It might
later than that?
It might be later. Did I tell you the date?
I thought you said August 4th.
I'll have to check.
He had a conflict, but it worked out because we didn't have AC.
Yeah, so it would have been canceled.
Yeah, so we intend to have him. It's sort of nebulous, but we're just going to try to work with his schedule. And as long as we have a roof over our head and power and AC.
And some crackers and some water,
yeah,
I think we should be okay.
Be okay. Yeah, it's been a long time. Dave, we've always got tons of things to talk about with Dave. So,
mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Dave Cruz will be back on with us, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he's been up to lately.
And I found my lost list of possible topics I wanted to explore for Space Boy Universe. So, after that, we'll get back on my research, and it was only like 4 topics. So,
well, hey, Solana, good news. While we've been on. We surpassed our goal for the AC repair.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, special thanks to all those who have helped us out and made the donation. Your donations have not gone unrecognized, and so we're glad to put this AC thing behind us. And
I'm sure if he could, Space Boy would hug and kiss you himself.
Yes. Well, some might have to put on some chapstick, but but other than that, hugs and kisses from Space Boy. Thank you for helping us out on that. So, speaking of other things, we thought about K-28 today.
Oh, yes, man.
Yeah, we went by, on our trip to Breakfast Land.
We had to go 30 miles away from breakfast for some reason,
Well, it'd been a while since we had seen...
We went west.
Aunt Eva and Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe.
Joe. And so we broke down and had some breakfast together. But on the way out there, it was like I could hear K-28 just screaming in my head like, "There's a Buc-ee's. Stop. There's a Buc-ee's."
We passed the Buc-ee's, and then after we passed it, there was a sign, another 100 miles down the road, there was another one.
Mm-hmm. And it was the big Buc-ee's. I mean,
big Buc-ee's.
I mean, this place was
How
huge.
many gas pumps were out front?
At least 40.
Yes.
And they had a car wash. I mean, I really, can I be honest with you, Charlotte? I really wanted to go in and experience Buc-ee's for all it was worth.
She would have stopped on the way back had
Yeah, well, I
not being what they were.
Well, I took care of those circumstances. You
won't go there at all.
Yeah. And it was kind of cool to see that Buc-ee's. Now, as we're talking about Buc-ee's, they're building a Buc-ee's by our house, but
it's not Buc-ee's.
It's not Buc-ee's.
It's not Buc-ee's.
Yeah, it's not Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's.
It's Buc-ee's with a Y.
It's some Yankees knockoff crap.
Yeah, there goes half our audience. Thank you for calling them Yankees.
Well, I think they're from somewhere up north. So
yeah, they're from Chicago.
They're not from here, and it's not from
So
Texas,
anyway, I know that there was a court case because of the naming thing, but I got to be honest with you, Solana. I don't think I'm going to go to that store just because if K28 found out that we went to the knockoff discount Buc-ee's.
I think it's just a name. I don't think it's a brand with a mascot.
Actually, I think it is a mascot. I think their mascot is like a cow of some kind. Yeah, and that you
can't see the face I'm making, but I'm making a face. Let me tell you.
If it's like if a black hole was like right where her nose is, her face just collapsed into that black hole. That's the look she just gave.
Yeah, it's not our beloved Buc-ee's. That's strictly here, mostly in Texas.
So I promise, Kay, we won't be.
At Posers, we won't go to.
Yeah,
Posers.
we won't be. We are true Buc-ee's lovers, and we know where our Buc-ee's butter is buttered.
The billboard that advertises in the next 100 miles, there's another Buc-ee's that says "Your throne awaits." That's talking about the excellent restrooms.
Yeah, they keep their restrooms very clean and up to date.
And you have a cubicle that's all to yourself, a floor to ceiling, little room. With a lock that says vacant and not, unoccupied. So there's no question of whether somebody's in that room or not.
No kids coming in and peeking underneath your stall.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about a zombie attack.
Hand sanitizer in there. You're fully enclosed in your own
The
world.
only thing that's missing is the music from the girl from Ipanema. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Can you do that again?
No, I don't do requests. Damn it. You miss it, you miss it.
One day
You can play this back, You can play this back
True,
over
but
and over.
I like it live. I don't like it recorded.
We'll do it live.
Bob calls it Room of Doom. Anyway, so, yeah, I'm a little disappointed in the fact that when I found out, hey, they're building the Buc-ee's over there, it's not the Buc-ee's that we love. Yeah. It's not Texas Buc-ee's. I like my beaver nuts at Buc-ee's.
That's something they actually have.
Yeah, they serve those.
We're not being crude.
Yeah.
That's an actual item at Buc-ee's.
And jerky.
Jerky, they have their own jerky.
Jerky.
There's like a full deli in there. You can have hot food. Every beverage known to man, of course, icy. Every candy, every snack, clothing, branded items.
Sandwiches,
huge gift
sausages. They have cheeses. Just anything that you can think of. That's what is so phenomenal about this Buc-ee's.
But we didn't have to drive that far to get to this one.
Actually, we passed it. I checked it on my phone on the GPS thingy. Only 22 minutes from here.
Yeah,
or
west.
22 miles actually. And we might have to go down there just
if they'll let us take video. It's like free advertisement for them.
I think K28 might explode over the fact that
we're on our phone.
Yeah, explode over the fact that we're showing him video of Buc-ee's, and he might get too excited.
But we could do that discreetly.
That is true. Truckers need to be fed too.
They need a place to stop and rest, and not get hassled by it.
But I think Buc-ee's is more pro. The
regular commuter, but they have some facilities. Yeah, they do have some facilities for truckers, but mostly it's just your regular truck commuters.
So anyway, I guess maybe one day Buc-ee's might sponsor the SBU. That would be great.
There's such a love for it.
We love Buc-ee's.
You will not be surprised to hear this, will you?
Okay.
When I tell you Facebook's stock market decline is the largest one-day drop in U.S. stock market history.
They lost billions.
120 billion in 24 hours. I'm not going to cry for that.
How's that algorithm working out for them now?
Yeah.
Okay, get a load of this. Okay, listen to me, Solano. Okay, you know how when it says you can boost this thing, whatever? The fact is that, we have space cadets that come looking for our content, right? Mm-hmm. And then Facebook says, well, if you want to boost this, you can pay X amount of dollars. Oh, sorry about that. And so I don't think that the people that are already coming to our site should have to really search out for our site, because I'm not paying to boost my site, and that's part of the argument people are having with this algorithm, and why it's affecting, I think, in a lot of ways, their business.
Well, that's one of the things, and being fraught with fake news and selling your data, and then there's the things they can't control that they get a bad rep for is, your Uncle Joe Bob's got a terrible opinion, and now he's shared it with the world, and that's not something they can control. But
that's part of the thing. Yeah, I really think the censorship thing. In the early days of Facebook, it was a free for all. Mm-hmm. And I think a few people, to some degree, and I'm not trying to backpedal on anti-bullying. Because it is out there, and I think it's worse now. I think you really see everyone divided. I get so sick and tired of, I was sick and tired of it with Obama. I'm sick and tired of it with Trump, where people just come up with, well, I'm rubber and you're glue, and whatever you say sticks. That kind of mentality, and I say it for both sides because both sides do it, and I'm not going to fall into the trap of picking a side because I'm not that way. That's not who I am.
I don't go to Facebook to read people's opinions about anything. Of course, they're there. I'm like, okay, whatever, Mostly I just post status about this show and just to stay in touch with some family members that I can't get to.
I don't have a problem with people posting opinion, but I have a problem with people saying, well, I have no room for your opinion.
Well, then you don't have room for them.
Yeah, so, it is what it is, and, but getting back to the good stuff of the world and the universe that we live in, as the SBU, as we call it.
Conversely, they're losing money, but Amazon is getting close to $1 trillion value in profit. Mm-hmm. They just closed a quarter, a business quarter. $2.5 billion they've made for this last quarter of earnings.
Mm-hmm.
They're not hurting for business.
No? Well, we do a lot of things with Amazon.
I think we're keeping them.
Well, you got your Amazon Prime, Amazon Now. I've showed you how to do that. You've got Whole Foods that they just acquired, where you can order your groceries and have it delivered. And they might even be able to send that note that you're writing that you can give to me on Amazon Wife Note Swap. So, oh, I see.
Sorry, dear. Sorry, Space Cadets. Apologize.
I'm going to just do this on air. How much longer do you need? Can you wait?
I've been holding it for 3 hours.
What? That's all.
I didn't want to leave Bill in the breaks by himself.
I've been here for most of the breaks. I've only disappeared once. This is.
Yeah, but I never talked to him before. You have.
Oh, so you found it important to stay during the breaks to talk to him?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess it is what it is.
Okay.
What you already You're already ready to close this thing down, aren't you? It's like the Flash here in just a second. what else can you add? Can you give me something else that we need to housekeep or whatever?
We intend to be back at the same time, same universe.
Yeah, I guess the concern with a lot of people, our space cadets out there, is that when we brought up the AC condition, we really were concerned that we were going to have to shut down the SBU studios.
Because it's like pay for this show or pay for AC, and it would have to be like 3-month shutdown.
But since a lot of y'all came through and you know who you are, we appreciate it. You have saved SBU, and we're going to continue as normal. We're not going to go anywhere other than on the mics and continue to put our SBU spin out there. So thank you, Space Cadets. We appreciate you. Also, Monday, look forward to YouTube. There will be some video footage that gets done from this actual thing. Actually, Sirlana, say goodnight.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your help. It's great to be back. We will see you again on Saturday. I got to run. Sorry.
And I'll go ahead and finalize the show here. So as Sirlana speeds off into another dimension, let's see here. Bear with me here. Oh, there we go. I had to turn her mic down. And, like I said, we appreciate the fact that y'all helped us out with the AC, and it means a lot to us. And I hate to admit this, but it still puts it out there that we still take donations for the SBU. Small donations are fine. You can find those links on our website, our main page. Feel free to donate if you can. We sure would appreciate it to help pay for the expenses of the show. That's just common housekeeping stuff that we need. But once again, going back to the AC thing, we appreciate those who donated. We appreciate those who stepped forward. No donation was too small. No donation was too big. And that's what was great about the Space Cadets that pulled through for us, and we appreciate y'all. I can't think of anything else other than just rambling like a madman that I am. But what's that? Wait, somebody's mad. I'm sorry, SBU Goat. You got your chance. All right, so on that magical note, as I start to play us out, just remember that the SBU, we're exploring the universe. I'm Space Boy. Sirlana was here. She's gone. But we'll be back next week. Same bat channel, same bat time. Good night, everyone.
Spaceboy Universe is hosted by Spaceboy and Sirlana. Executive producer is Sirlana. Associate producer is Leanne Cordes. Music production is Spaceboy of SpaceboyMusic.com. Special thanks goes out to Leanne K, K28, Dino, Solars Blue Raven, Patrick Sporer, Bob and Beverly N. This has been a Spaceboy Universe production. Support the universe by exploring Spaceboy Universe with Spaceboy and Sirlana. Sweet dreams, Space Cadets.